The master bedroom hadn't changed in the 3 years since Kang Hyun-woo married Zara's mother. Simone had redecorated it when they first moved in, trying to erase traces of Hyun-woo's first wife Gloria, filling the space with soft creams and golds that she'd insisted made it feel like a real home. Family photos lined the dresser: Hyun-woo and Simone's wedding day, Hannah's college graduation, Marcus's 21st birthday, Zara's business launch party. The perfect blended family, captured in silver frames. Now, at 2 a.m, Zara Williams stood in the master bathroom while her stepfather's reflection watched her from the doorway. "You shouldn't be here," Zara whispered, her hands gripping the marble counter. Through the open door, she could see the California king bed where her mother slept. Simone's soft snoring audible even from 15 feet away. "And yet you came when I texted." Kang Hyun-woo's voice was low, his Korean accent slight but present after 25 years in Vancouver. At 45, he was devastating in black silk pajama pants and nothing else. Lean muscle, sharp collarbones, salt and pepper hair slightly mussed from sleep, or from not sleeping. "You always come, Zara. That's the problem, isn't it?" His use of her name instead of stepdaughter or any familial term was deliberate. In this house, Simone insisted on family titles. Zara was supposed to call him Dad or at minimum stepdad. She'd refused for 3 years, stubbornly using his given name as her only rebellion. Until 6 months ago, when rebellion had transformed into something far more dangerous. "Your wife is 20 feet away," Zara said. But even she could hear the weakness in her protest. "My mother is sleeping in that bed." "I know." Hyun-woo stepped fully into the bathroom and closed the door with a soft click that sounded like a gunshot in the silence, which is why you need to be very, very quiet. Zara's reflection in the mirror showed exactly what she was. A 25-year-old woman in silk pajama shorts and a tank top, her box braids falling past her shoulders, her dark brown skin flushed with shame and desire. The beauty mark above her right lip, the one Hyun-woo had told her he was obsessed with, seemed to mock her. "This is insane," she breathed. "You're my stepfather. This is wrong." Hyun-woo moved behind her, not touching, but close enough that she could feel his heat. "Sick, unforgivable. We've established what it is, Zara. The question is whether you're strong enough to walk away." She should be. God, she should be. 6 months ago, everything had been different. 6 months ago, Zara had moved back into this house after her event, planning business collapsed, desperate and broken. Hyun-woo had been kind, offering business advice and connections. Professional. Safe. Then late nights in his study had shifted. The way he looked at her changed. The accidental touches became deliberate. And when he'd finally cornered her in his downtown office and asked if she felt it too, this pull, this hunger, this impossible thing between them, she'd said yes. They'd crossed every line that day, and they'd been crossing new ones ever since. "Tell me to leave," Hyun-woo said quietly. "Tell me you don't want this and I'll go back to my wife. Back to being the man who married your mother. Back to pretending we're a normal family." Zara met his eyes in the mirror, dark, intense, predatory. The eyes of a man who ran half of Vancouver's criminal underground, who made people disappear, who built empires on violence and strategy. Those eyes saw everything, including the parts of Zara she'd hidden from everyone else. "I can't," she admitted, hating herself. "I can't tell you to leave." "Then turn around." She did, and the bathroom felt impossibly small. Hyun-woo's hand came up to cup her jaw, thumb tracing her beauty mark with a reverence that made her stomach flip. "Do you know what you do to me?" His voice dropped lower, that command register that made her body respond before her brain could interfere. "Walking around this house calling me by my name, refusing to acknowledge what I am to you, fighting me even as you surrender. What are you to me?" The question came out broken. "You're supposed to be my father figure, the man who saved my family, my mother's husband. I'm the man who sees you." Hyun-woo's other hand settled on her waist, and even through the silk his touch burned. Every broken, desperate, beautiful part of you. The ambitious woman your business failure destroyed, the daughter who resents needing rescue, the woman who wants to be controlled because she spent her whole life being strong. The accuracy of it stole her breath. This was why she kept coming back. Not just the physical intensity, but this. Being known, being seen without the performance she maintained for everyone else. My office, Hyunwoo continued, his thumb moving to her lips. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. We need to talk about where this is going, about what happens when, not if, when, your mother finds out. She can't find out. It would destroy her. She will find out. Secrets this big don't stay hidden. His expression darkened. Hannah suspects. She's been watching us. And your brother. He paused. Marcus knows something's wrong in this house. He might not know specifics, but he sees the cracks. Zara thought about her 22-year-old brother, the haunted look in his eyes lately, the way he'd stopped sleeping. Marcus had his own demons that might involve Gloria, Hyunwoo's ex-wife, though Zara hadn't confirmed her suspicions yet. This family is diseased, she whispered. Everyone's lying to everyone. Yes. Hyunwoo pulled her closer until their bodies were flush. So the question is, do we stop lying? Do we burn it all down and face the consequences, or do we keep playing this game until someone else forces our hand? Before Zara could answer, Simone's voice drifted from the bedroom. Hyunwoo? You okay in there, baby? They froze. Zara's heart hammered so hard she thought it might explode from her chest. Hyunwoo's expression didn't change, but his hand tightened fractionally on her waist. Fine, he called back, voice perfectly normal. Couldn't sleep getting water. Want me to make you tea? No, love. Go back to sleep. I'll be there in a minute. Footsteps approached the bathroom door. Zara's eyes went wide with panic, but Hyunwoo calmly released her and turned, positioning himself to block the door if it opened. His body language was casual, his face relaxed, the perfect performance. The doorknob didn't turn. Instead, Simone's voice came closer just on the other side. Hyunwoo, honey, can we talk about something tomorrow, about Zara? Zara's blood turned to ice. Of course. What about her? Hyunwoo's tone was mild, curious, nothing more. I've been noticing things. The way you two interact. The expensive gifts. The private meetings. A pause heavy with something Zara couldn't identify. I want to make sure everything's appropriate. You know how it looks, right? Older stepfather, young stepdaughter spending so much time alone together. The words hung in the air like poisoned arrows. Hyunwoo met Zara's eyes and she saw the calculation there. He was deciding how to play this, how much to admit, how to control the narrative. Nothing inappropriate is happening, he said firmly. I'm helping Zara rebuild her business connections. That's all. If it makes you uncomfortable, we can adjust how we work together. It's not that I don't trust you. Simone trailed off, and when she spoke again, her voice was different, sharper. It's that I'm not stupid, Hyunwoo. I've been watching. I know when something's wrong in my house, in my marriage. The statement landed like a bomb. Zara pressed her hand over her mouth to keep from making a sound. Did Simone know? Had she known all along? We'll talk tomorrow, Hyunwoo said, his voice still calm but with an edge now. Go to bed, Simone. You're tired. I'm not tired. I'm clear-headed for the first time in months. A bitter laugh. 3 years sober, and I'm finally seeing what's been right in front of me. Footsteps retreated. The bedroom door closed with a decisive click. Silence crashed through the bathroom like a wave. Zara couldn't breathe. She knows. Oh God, she knows. She suspects, Hyunwoo corrected, but tension had entered his frame. There's a difference. What are we going to do? You're going to go back to your room. I'm going to handle my wife, and tomorrow at 3, you're going to meet me at my office, and we're going to decide how this ends. He moved to the door, then paused. Wear the dress I left in your closet, the burgundy one. You came into my room. I own this house, I go where I want. The dominance in his voice should have angered her. Instead, it made her core tighten with want. 3 p.m., Zara. Don't make me wait. He left without looking back, slipping into the bedroom where his wife waited. Zara stood alone in the bathroom, trembling. The weight of what they'd almost done, what they'd been doing for 6 months, crushing down on her. She made it back to her room without seeing anyone, locked the door and leaned against it, trying to calm her racing heart. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Hyunwoo. She doesn't know everything, but she's close. Tomorrow we decide, do we come clean, or do we end this before it destroys her? Your choice. Another text followed immediately. For what it's worth, I'd choose you. Every time. Even if it costs me everything. Zara stared at the messages, then at the garment bag hanging on her closet door. She unzipped it slowly. The burgundy silk dress was beautiful, expensive, her exact size. The note pinned inside read, "Wear nothing underneath. I want to remember what you feel like when this is over." HW, she should refuse, should pack her bags, should confess everything to her mother and accept the consequences. Instead, she hung the dress carefully and climbed into bed, knowing she'd be wearing it at 3 p.m., knowing she'd meet him one more time, knowing she was going to destroy her mother for a man who was never supposed to be anything but family. Across the hall, Marcus Williams sat awake in his room, having heard the late-night movement. He pulled out his phone and stared at the text he'd drafted to Zara hours ago. "I know about you and Hyunwoo. We need to talk. About him. About Gloria. About all of it." But he couldn't send it. Because if he exposed Zara's secret, she might expose his. And what Gloria had been doing to him for the past year, what he'd let her do because he was too broken to stop it, was somehow worse than anything Zara was doing with their stepfather. This family was rotting from the inside out. And Marcus didn't know if any of them would survive when the truth finally came to light. In the master bedroom, Simone Williams Kang lay in the dark beside her husband, eyes wide open, phone in her hand. On the screen was footage from the security camera she'd secretly installed in the upstairs hallway 6 weeks ago. Footage of Hyunwoo entering the master bathroom at 2:15 a.m. Footage of Zara following 3 minutes later. Footage of them emerging separately, dishevelled 27 minutes after that. Simone had suspected for months. Now she had proof. The question was what to do with it. Confront them? Divorce Hyunwoo? Throw out her own daughter? Or use the information strategically? Because Simone hadn't stayed sober for 3 years without learning how to play the long game. And if her husband and daughter wanted to destroy her family, they'd learn that Simone Williams didn't go down without taking everyone else with her. She deleted the video footage, knowing she had copies saved in 3 other locations. Then she texted a number she'd sworn she'd never use again. "I need your help. My husband is fucking my daughter. I want them to pay, both of them." The response came within seconds. "I thought you'd never ask. Let's make them suffer." G. Gloria Kang, Hyunwoo's ex-wife and the mother of Hannah, smiled in her darkened bedroom across the city. She'd been waiting for this call for 3 years, ever since her ex-husband had married that recovering addict and her 2 damaged children. Now the game could finally begin. Morning light filtered through Zara's bedroom windows at 7:30, cruelly bright after a night with barely 2 hours of sleep. She'd spent the dark hours replaying everything, Hyunwoo's hands on her waist, Simone's voice outside the bathroom door, that terrible moment of almost being caught. Her phone had buzzed 3 more times during the night, all from Hyunwoo, all messages she shouldn't have read but consumed like oxygen. "I meant what I said. I'd choose you." Simone's suspicious, but she doesn't have proof. Yet. 3 p.m. We end this properly one way or another. Now, staring at the burgundy dress hanging on her closet door, Zara felt the weight of the choice ahead. Wear it and go to him. Or refuse and try to salvage what was left of her relationship with her mother. She showered mechanically, the water unable to wash away the guilt that had become part of her skin. When she emerged, she pulled on jeans and a cream sweater instead of the dress. A small rebellion, though they both knew she'd change before 3 p.m. She always did. Downstairs, the kitchen was already full. The scent of coffee and pancakes filled the air, and Zara's stomach turned. How could she eat breakfast with these people? How could she sit across from her mother and pretend everything was normal? Simone stood at the stove in a silk robe, her natural hair wrapped in a vibrant African print scarf. At 48, she looked healthier than she had in years. 3 years of sobriety had returned colour to her skin, light to her eyes. Zara had helped her mother fight so hard for this stability, and now she was destroying it. "Good morning, baby girl." Simone's smile was radiant as she turned from the stove. Too radiant, like a performance. "I'm making everyone's favourites: blueberry pancakes, turkey bacon, fresh fruit, celebrating." Celebrating what? Zara forced herself to move into the kitchen, settling onto a stool at the island. 3 years today since Hyunwoo and I got married. 3 years since we became a real family. Simone set a plate in front of Zara, then leaned in to kiss her forehead. Her mother's hands lingered on Zara's shoulders just a moment too long. "Best decision I ever made? He saved us, didn't he? Gave us stability, safety, a home." The words felt loaded with meaning. Zara couldn't meet her mother's eyes. "Yeah, he did." "I know it was hard at first," Simone continued, returning to the stove. "Moving into his house with his daughter, adjusting to having a stepfather again after so long without your real dad. But you two have gotten so close now. The way you talk to each other, the way he looks at you. It's beautiful, really, like real father and daughter." Zara's coffee cup froze halfway to her lips. Her mother's tone was light, conversational, but there was something underneath, something sharp. "We get along fine," Zara managed. "More than fine, I'd say." Simone smiled over her shoulder, and this time it didn't reach her eyes. The private meetings, the expensive gifts, all that time alone together. Must be nice having such an attentive stepfather. Before Zara could respond, footsteps thundered down the stairs. Hannah appeared first, looking tired in yoga pants and an oversized sweater, her long black hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. She clearly hadn't slept well either. Behind her came David Chen, Hannah's fiancé, handsome and oblivious in his square-framed glasses and a UCLA hoodie. He offered everyone a friendly smile that Hannah didn't return. "Morning," Hannah said flatly, avoiding Zara's gaze entirely. "Good morning, sweetheart. Sit, sit." Simone's brightness ratcheted up another notch, too cheerful, almost manic. "I'm making a feast. It's my anniversary, so we're celebrating as a family." David slid onto a stool next to Zara. 3 years already? Congratulations, Simone. That's wonderful." "It is, isn't it?" Simone poured him coffee, her movements precise. 3 years of building something beautiful. A blended family. Stepsisters who became friends. A husband who takes such good care of all of us. She paused, coffee pot hovering. "Where is Hyunwoo anyway? Still sleeping?" "Here." His voice came from the doorway. Everyone turned. Kang Hyunwoo stood framed in the kitchen entrance, immaculate despite the early hour, in tailored black slacks and a crisp white dress shirt. His salt and pepper hair was perfectly styled, his presence commanding the room immediately. When his dark eyes swept over them, landing briefly on Zara before moving to his wife, she felt that look like a physical touch. "Good morning," he said, his Korean accent slight but present. "Happy anniversary, Simone. Is it?" Simone's smile was razor-sharp now. "Happy, I mean. Are you happy, Hyunwoo? With our marriage? With our family?" The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. David looked confused. Hannah went very still, watching. Zara's hands clenched under the counter. Hyunwoo moved to the coffee maker with his usual controlled grace. "Of course I'm happy. Why would you ask that?" "Oh, I don't know." Simone flipped pancakes with deliberate precision. "Maybe because we barely talk anymore. Maybe because you work late every night. Maybe because I feel like there are secrets in this house. Things people aren't telling me." "Simone. But I'm sure I'm just being paranoid." Her voice was honey-sweet venom. Recovering addicts can be paranoid, right? Always looking for problems. Creating drama where there isn't any. Hannah cleared her throat. Actually, speaking of secrets and drama, I wanted to talk to everyone about something. All eyes turned to her. She looked at Zara with something like pity and accusation mixed together. I think there are inappropriate things happening in this house, things that need to be addressed. Hannah, David's voice held a warning. We talked about this. No, David. I'm done staying quiet. Hannah straightened her small frame, trembling but determined. Dad, are you having an affair? Simone's pancake turner clattered to the floor. Hyunwoo's expression remained neutral, but Zara saw his jaw tighten fractionally. David looked shocked. Hannah, that's a serious accusation, Hyunwoo said calmly. What makes you think? I heard footsteps last night, at 2:47 a.m., outside our room, going toward your bedroom, returning 20 minutes later. Hannah's voice shook but stayed firm. I checked the security app on my phone. Someone went into your room, Dad. Someone who doesn't sleep there. Zara felt the blood drain from her face. There were security cameras she didn't know about? How many? Where? Simone picked up the pancake turner slowly. Who did you see on the camera, Hannah? I couldn't tell. The app only shows motion alerts, not actual footage. But Hannah's gaze locked on Zara. I have suspicions. Suspicions? Simone's laugh was brittle. We all have suspicions, don't we? Funny how nobody wants to say what they're really thinking. Hyunwoo set down his coffee cup with deliberate care. I went to the bathroom last night. That's the movement Hannah detected. I couldn't sleep, anniversary nerves, and I didn't want to wake Simone. That's all. Just the bathroom, Hannah pressed, for 20 minutes. I have insomnia. Sometimes I walk around. His tone suggested the conversation was over. Hannah, I understand you're protective, but these accusations are hurtful. To me, to Simone, to this family. Someone's hurting this family. I'm just not sure who yet. Hannah stood abruptly. I'm going for a walk. David, come with me. Hannah, Simone started, but Hannah was already heading for the door. I need air, away from all the lies. She paused at the doorway, looking back at her father. You taught me to trust my instincts, Dad. About business, about people, about danger. And every instinct I have is screaming that something's very, very wrong in this house. She left, David scrambling after her with apologetic glances. The front door closed, leaving the three of them in loaded silence. Simone resumed cooking, her movements mechanical. Well, that was awkward. She's stressed about the wedding, Hyunwoo said. She's imagining problems. Is she? Simone plated pancakes with careful precision. Or is she seeing clearly for the first time? Unlike her stepmother, who's been blind for 3 years, Zara couldn't take the tension anymore. I should go. I have client meetings today. At 3 p.m., Simone asked sweetly, in Hyunwoo's downtown office. Funny, he mentioned he'd be there too. Another private meeting. More mentorship. The way she said mentorship made it sound obscene. Zara and Hyunwoo exchanged the briefest glance, and that's when Zara knew. Her mother definitely knew something. Maybe not everything, but enough. Zara helps with my legitimate business connections, Hyunwoo said, his voice level. She's an event planner. I introduce her to clients who need her services. It's networking, Simone. Nothing more. Nothing more? Simone set the plates down with enough force to rattle them. Then why does she have a $17,000 Cartier bracelet, the same collection you bought me for our first anniversary? Did a client give her that too? Zara's hand instinctively went to her wrist, though she wasn't wearing the bracelet. How did Simone know? Had she been going through Zara's things? Answer me, Zara, Simone's voice cracked. Where did you get that bracelet? A client? Don't lie to me. The shout made both of them flinch. Simone never shouted. 3 years sober and she'd been calm, controlled, centered. This rage was new. Or maybe old, finally surfacing. I'm not stupid. I'm not blind. I see what's happening in my own house. Simone, calm down. Hyunwoo started. Don't tell me to calm down, you're fucking my daughter. The accusation exploded into the kitchen like a grenade. Aren't you? Aren't you? Silence crashed down. Zara couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't think. Hyunwoo's face remained carefully blank. But she saw his mind racing through options, strategies, lies. That's an insane accusation, he said quietly. Zara is your daughter, my stepdaughter. The suggestion that I would... Stop, Simone's voice broke. Just stop lying. I know, I've known for weeks. I installed cameras. Hyunwoo, real ones. Not just the security system you control, my own cameras, and I've seen things. Enough things. Zara felt the world tilt. Mom! How long? Simone's eyes filled with tears. How long have you been sleeping with my husband? The question hung in the air like a noose. Zara opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. What could she say? How could she explain the inexplicable? 6 months, she whispered. It's been 6 months. The confession landed like a physical blow. Simone staggered backward, gripping the counter for support. 6 months. 6 months of lying to my face. 6 months of fucking him in this house, in our home, while I cooked your meals and did your laundry and told everyone what a wonderful family we were. Simone, I'm sorry. Zara started, but her mother held up a hand. Don't apologize. Don't explain. Don't you dare try to make this okay. Simone's voice was ice now, all warmth burned away. You know what the worst part is? I gave you everything. I fought so hard to stay sober so I could be a good mother, so I could give you and Marcus stability. And you repay me by destroying my marriage, by taking the one good thing I've built. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Zara? Tell me. Tell me how sleeping with your stepfather isn't exactly what it looks like. Zara had no answer, because it was exactly what it looked like. There was no version of this story that made her anything but a homewrecker, a betrayer, a daughter who'd chosen Dick over her own mother. Hyunwoo finally spoke. If you want to blame someone, blame me. I pursued her. I manipulated the situation. Zara is young, vulnerable. She's 25 years old. Simone rounded on him. She's not some innocent child you seduced. She made choices. You both did. And now you both get to live with the consequences. What does that mean? Zara asked, fear creeping in. Simone pulled out her phone, scrolling through with shaking hands. It means I'm not the only one who knows now. I called someone last night, someone who's been waiting for years to destroy you, Hyunwoo. Someone who will make sure everyone knows what you've done. Hyunwoo went very still. Who did you call? Your ex-wife. Simone's smile was terrible. Gloria and I had a very interesting conversation. About you, about Zara, about Marcus too. Did you know your ex-wife has been sleeping with my son? Your stepson? For over a year now? Zara felt like she'd been punched. What? Oh yes, Marcus and Gloria, your 22-year-old stepson and your 46-year-old ex-wife. Seems inappropriate relationships run in this family. Simone's laugh was broken glass. Gloria told me everything. How she's been grooming him, controlling him, using him. That's abuse, Zara breathed. Marcus is a victim? Yes, just like you're a victim, right? Poor Zara, seduced by her stepfather. Poor Marcus, manipulated by his stepfather's ex-wife. Everyone's a victim in this family except me. I'm just the stupid wife who didn't see it coming. Hyunwoo's hands had clenched into fists. What did you and Gloria agree to? That's between us. Simone headed for the door, then paused. Your 3 p.m. meeting is cancelled, by the way, because at 3 p.m., Gloria, Hannah, Marcus and I will all be here, in this house. And we're going to have a family meeting, a real one, where everyone's secrets come out, where everyone faces consequences. Simone, think about what you're doing. I've thought about nothing else for weeks. While you were fucking my daughter, I was planning. She looked at both of them with something like pity. You wanted to destroy this family. Congratulations. You succeeded. Now you get to watch it burn. She walked out, leaving them standing in the wreckage of breakfast, the uneaten pancakes going cold, the coffee bitter. Zara looked at Hyunwoo, desperate. What do we do? We prepare, he said quietly. Gloria won't stop at exposure. She'll want blood. And your mother just gave her the perfect weapon. Marcus, Zara whispered. We have to warn Marcus. Get him away from Gloria before... Before what? A new voice came from the stairs. They both turned to find Marcus standing there in sweatpants and a haunted expression. Before you finally notice I've been drowning, that would require you to look at someone other than each other. Marcus. Zara started toward him, but he held up a hand. Don't. Don't pretend you care now. You've been too busy fucking your stepdaddy to notice your brother was being destroyed. His voice broke. Gloria told me about you and Hyunwoo. She showed me the videos, said if I tried to leave her, she'd make sure everyone saw them, that Mom would see them. That's blackmail, Hyunwoo said. Marcus, I can protect you, like you protected Zara, like you protected this family. Marcus laughed bitterly. You're a criminal who married a recovering addict for legitimacy, then fucked her daughter. You don't protect anyone but yourself. He was right. They both knew it. Hyunwoo said nothing. Marcus looked at his sister, tears streaming down his face. I needed you, Z. I needed my big sister, and you were too busy destroying Mom to notice I was falling apart. So fuck you. Fuck both of you. I hope this was worth it. He left through the back door, and Zara collapsed onto a stool, the weight of everything finally crushing her. Hyunwoo moved to her, his hand on her shoulder, but she shrugged it off. Don't touch me. This is your fault. All of it. We share the blame. No, she stood to face him. You're 45. I'm 25. You're my stepfather. You had all the power here and you used it. You seduced me, manipulated me, made me think this was something special when really I was just another conquest. That's not true. Isn't it? How many others have there been? Before me? After Gloria? During your marriage to my mother? His silence was answer enough. Zara felt something break inside her chest. 3 p.m., she said. We face everyone, we tell the truth. And then I'm leaving. This house, this city, you, all of it. Zara, I'm done, Hyunwoo. We're done. The only question now is how much damage we've already caused, and whether any of it can be fixed. She walked out, leaving him alone in the kitchen, surrounded by the ruins of the family breakfast. Upstairs, she locked her bedroom door and finally let herself cry. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Gloria. We should talk. About Hyunwoo. About Marcus. About making sure they both pay. Come to my house. Now. Zara stared at the message. Her stepfather's ex-wife, the woman abusing her brother, wanted to form an alliance. It was insane. It was also the only place she had left. She grabbed her keys and headed out, driving across the city to the woman who might be her only chance at protecting Marcus. The 3 p.m. confrontation was coming, but first Zara needed to understand exactly who she was fighting and what Gloria Kang really wanted. Gloria Kang's penthouse overlooked Vancouver's harbour from the 32nd floor, all glass and steel and money. Zara had been here twice before, once for Hannah's 21st birthday party, once for a charity gala Simone had insisted the whole family attend. Both times, she'd marvelled at the elegance, the view, the sheer wealth on display. Now, standing in the marble-floored foyer, while Gloria's assistant disappeared to announce her arrival, Zara felt only dread. Zara Williams. Gloria's voice preceded her entrance. How unexpected, and yet, somehow, entirely predictable. At 46, Gloria Kang was Ice Queen perfection. Her shoulder-length black bob was razor-sharp, her cream cashmere outfit pristine, her makeup subtle but flawless. She moved with the controlled grace of someone who'd spent decades manipulating powerful men and came out on top. Even divorced from Hyunwoo for 5 years, She radiated the authority of someone who still owned half his empire. "You wanted to talk," Zara said, forcing strength into her voice she didn't feel. "About Marcus, about making Hyunwoo pay." "Straight to business, I appreciate that." Gloria gestured toward the living room, white furniture, modern art, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the city. "Sit. I'll have tea brought." "I don't want tea. I want to know what you're doing to my brother." Gloria's smile was razor-thin, direct, also refreshing. "Your mother spent 20 minutes crying on the phone last night before she got to the point. You, at least, don't waste time." "My mother called you because you're sleeping with Marcus." Zara stayed standing, needing the height advantage even though Gloria's presence made her feel small. "He's 22. You're 46. You're his stepfather's ex-wife. That's the same age gap as you and Hyunwoo." Gloria's eyebrow arched delicately. "Actually, your situation is worse. He's your stepfather, still married to your mother, living under the same roof. At least Marcus and I have no familial connection beyond my ex-husband's marriage to his mother." The logic was twisted, but technically accurate. Zara felt her moral high ground crumbling. "You're abusing him, grooming him, controlling him." Strong words. Gloria settled onto a white leather sofa, crossing her legs with deliberate elegance. "Did Marcus tell you that? Or are you making assumptions? He came to work for your foundation a year ago. Within months you'd seduced him. Now he's—" Zara struggled for words. "He's broken. He doesn't sleep. He barely eats. He's terrified of you." Terrified. "Or devoted?" Gloria tilted her head. "There's a fine line, isn't there? Between fear and desire, between control and care. I'm sure you understand that better than most, given your relationship with my ex-husband. Don't compare. Why not? You let Hyunwoo dominate you, command you, make decisions about your body, your time, your loyalty. You surrendered to him completely, didn't you?" Gloria's dark eyes glittered with knowledge. The expensive gifts, the private meetings, the way you change when he's in the room. That's not love, darling. That's ownership. And you loved being owned. The accuracy made Zara's skin crawl. "This isn't about me. But it is, because you're here asking me to release Marcus from something you haven't escaped yourself." Gloria leaned forward slightly. "You want to save your brother from the terrible older woman who's controlling him. Meanwhile, you're fucking your stepfather in your mother's house. The hypocrisy is almost beautiful." "I'm ending it with Hyunwoo, today. That's why I'm here, to make sure Marcus is safe when everything explodes." "How noble," Gloria's voice dripped sarcasm. "And what makes you think I'm the villain in Marcus's story? Have you asked him what he wants? Whether he enjoys our time together? Whether I give him something he can't get anywhere else?" Zara thought about Marcus's haunted eyes, his trembling hands, the way he'd looked at her this morning with such betrayal. "I know he's suffering." "Suffering and growing are often the same thing." Gloria stood, moving to the window. "I'll tell you what I told your mother last night. Marcus came to me broken already, sensitive, brilliant, completely adrift after your father died, and your mother descended into addiction. He needed structure, guidance, someone strong enough to make decisions so he didn't have to. That's not mentorship, that's grooming. Call it what you want. Marcus is an adult who makes his own choices." Gloria turned back, her expression hardening. "But you're right about one thing. This conversation isn't about whether my relationship with Marcus is appropriate. It's about leverage, ammunition, destruction. What do you want?" "The same thing your mother wants. To watch Hyunwoo suffer. To take back everything he stole when he divorced me and married that recovering addict." Gloria's mask of civility finally cracked, showing venom beneath. 5 years ago, he left me because I was too controlling, too cold. He wanted warmth, authenticity, a woman who needed him instead of challenged him. So he found Simone, broken, grateful, desperate, the perfect victim. My mother isn't a victim, isn't she? He married her for legitimacy. for a family structure that made his criminal empire look respectable. He never loved her, just like he doesn't love you. Gloria moved closer, her Chanel No. 5 perfume cloying. You're a conquest, Zara, a way to feel powerful. The forbidden stepdaughter who worships him. It strokes his ego. But the moment you're not forbidden anymore, the moment Simone divorces him and you're just some girl he's dating, you'll bore him, and he'll find the next broken thing to fix and fuck. The words landed like bullets, each one hitting a fear Zara had been nursing for months. You don't know him. I was married to him for 18 years. I know exactly who he is. Gloria's smile was cruel. He's a predator who's very, very good at making his prey feel chosen, special, seen. Sound familiar? Zara's phone buzzed. A text from Hyunwoo. Where are you? We need to talk before 3 p.m. Gloria is dangerous. Don't trust anything she says. Gloria glanced at the phone screen and laughed. Speaking of predictable, did he warn you I'm manipulating you, that I'm lying, that only he can be trusted? What do you want from me? Zara asked again, exhaustion creeping in. Why did you really tell me to come here? Because we can help each other. Gloria pulled out her own phone, scrolling through with manicured fingers. I have videos of Hyunwoo with you. Security footage from his downtown office, his car, even some from the house that Simone doesn't know about. Very compromising footage, enough to destroy his reputation completely. Zara's stomach dropped. You've been watching us. I've been watching him since the divorce. Waiting for him to self-destruct. You just happened to be the method. Gloria's expression softened slightly. I'm not showing you this to hurt you, Zara. I'm showing you because you need to understand. Hyunwoo doesn't just control you emotionally. He's been orchestrating this entire situation. The job offer that fell through that made you move back home. I have evidence he sabotaged it. The business contacts who stopped returning your calls, he paid them to ghost you. He manufactured your vulnerability so you'd be dependent on him, so you'd feel grateful when he rescued you. The implications made Zara dizzy. You're lying. Am I? Gloria pulled up emails on her phone showing them to Zara, names of clients who'd suddenly dropped her, dates that corresponded with when she'd moved back into Hyunwoo's house, money transfers, payoffs. It couldn't be true. Hyunwoo had been kind, supportive, helpful when her business failed. He wouldn't have caused the failure just to control her, would he? Why are you showing me this? Zara whispered. Because at 3 p.m. we're all gathering at that house for a reckoning. Your mother wants to expose the affair. Hannah wants to confront her father about violating trust. And I want to destroy Hyunwoo completely. His businesses, his reputation, his freedom. To do that, I need you to testify that he manipulated you, groomed you, used his position as your stepfather to coerce you into a sexual relationship. But that's not... Zara stopped. Was it? She'd thought she'd chosen this, chosen him. But if he'd engineered her failure, created her dependence, positioned himself as her savior... I can't testify to something that isn't true, Zara said, but her voice shook. Can't you? Or won't you, because admitting you were manipulated means admitting you're not as strong as you think? Gloria's voice was almost gentle. Zara, I'm offering you an out. A way to save your relationship with your mother, protect Marcus, and escape Hyunwoo's control. All you have to do is tell the truth. That a powerful, older man groomed his vulnerable stepdaughter and used her for his own gratification. What about Marcus? If I do this, you let him go? I'll consider it. But Marcus and I will have our own conversation. He might not want to leave. Gloria's smile returned. You assume you know what's best for him. That's very patronizing, Zara. Marcus is an adult. Maybe he likes being controlled. Maybe it makes him feel safe. Have you considered that? Zara's phone buzzed again. Marcus this time. Z, where are you? Gloria texted me to come to her place. Should I? I'm scared, but I need to see her. I can't explain it. Help me. The text broke Zara's heart. Her baby brother, so clearly trapped, asking permission to see his abuser. This was what Gloria had done to him, destroyed his autonomy so completely he couldn't make decisions without someone's approval. "Let me talk to him," Zara said. "Before the 3 p.m. meeting, let me see Marcus and hear what he actually wants, not what you've trained him to want." Gloria considered this. "Fine, he's on his way here now. You can talk to him. But Zara?" She moved closer, close enough that Zara could see the fine lines around her eyes that Botox couldn't quite erase. "If you try to take him from me, I'll release every video I have of you and Hyun-woo. Your mother will see exactly what her daughter has been doing. Hannah will see her father's depravity in detail. David will see his fiancé's father in compromising positions with her stepsister. The whole city will know what you are." "A homewrecker," Zara's voice was flat. "A victim," Gloria corrected. "Which is what you'll become when I'm done spinning this story. The question is whether you're smart enough to accept that label and use it, or whether your pride will destroy you." Before Zara could respond, the penthouse door opened. Marcus walked in looking terrible, gaunt, exhausted, wearing clothes that hung on his too thin frame. When he saw Zara, something like relief and resentment crossed his face. "Z, what are you doing here?" "Trying to save you," Zara said. "From her. From all of this." Marcus's gaze shifted to Gloria, and Zara watched her brother's entire demeanor change. His shoulders hunched slightly, his head tilted in automatic deference, his breathing adjusted to match hers. The transformation was disturbing and familiar. She'd seen herself do the same thing around Hyun-woo. "Miss Gloria," Marcus said quietly, "you wanted to see me?" "I did. But first, your sister wants to ask you something." Gloria's smile was indulgent, like a parent letting children play. "Go ahead, Zara." "Ask him if he wants to be rescued." Zara looked at her brother, 22 years old, brilliant mind, completely broken, and didn't know how to ask the question, because whatever Marcus said, Gloria had programmed the answer. "Marcus, are you happy?" Zara finally asked. "With her? With this?" Her brother's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know what happy means anymore. I just know I need her, and I hate that I need her, and I can't stop needing her even though it's killing me. Does that make sense?" "Yes," Zara whispered, because it did. It made perfect, terrible sense. It was exactly how she felt about Hyun-woo. "Then help me," Marcus begged, "not by taking me away from her, but by making sure Mom never finds out. By keeping this secret so I don't have to explain why I let this happen. Why I keep letting it happen." Gloria moved to Marcus's side, her hand gentle on his shoulder. "You see? He doesn't want saving. He wants discretion, protection, which I'm happy to provide, as long as you're willing to help me destroy Hyun-woo this afternoon." Zara looked between them, Gloria elegant and controlled, Marcus broken and dependent, and saw the future. This was what she and Hyun-woo would become if they continued. He'd destroy her autonomy so completely she wouldn't be able to leave even when every part of her screamed to run. "I need time to think," Zara said. "You have until 3 p.m. That's," Gloria checked her watch, 2 hours and 17 minutes. Think fast, Zara, because this is the only deal I'm offering. Testify against Hyun-woo, help me destroy him legally and socially, or watch your mother, your brother, and your stepsister all suffer the consequences of your choices." Zara's phone buzzed with another text. "Hyun-woo. Gloria's playing you. Whatever she's saying, it's manipulation. Come to my office. Let me explain everything. Please. 2 hours until the confrontation. 2 hours to decide whose version of events to believe. 2 hours to determine whether she was a victim or a villain or something more complicated than either label allowed." Zara looked at Marcus one more time. "If I do this, if I help Gloria, you have to promise me something. You'll get therapy, real therapy, and you'll at least try to get away from her eventually." Marcus's laugh was broken. "You first, Z. You get away from Hyun-woo, Then you can preach to me about healthy relationships. He was right. They were both drowning in the same diseased water, each unable to save the other because they couldn't save themselves. "I'll see you at 3, Zara said, and left before Gloria could stop her. Outside in her car, Zara sat gripping the steering wheel so hard her knuckles went pale. Her phone showed messages from multiple people. Hyunwoo. "Where are you, Hannah? We need to talk. Before this afternoon. About Dad. About what I'm going to say. Simone. I hope you're ready for the truth to come out. No more hiding. No more lies. David. Hannah's breaking down. She needs her stepsister. Can you come back to the house? Even a message from Pastor Richard, Gloria's father. I heard about today's gathering. I'm bringing Julian. Everyone's secrets will be exposed, including mine. We're all going down together." The entire family was imploding, and Zara was at the center. Her affair with Hyunwoo, the catalyst that had triggered the avalanche. She checked the time, 1:47 p.m. 1 hour and 13 minutes until everything ended. She could go to Hyunwoo, hear his explanation. Let him convince her Gloria was lying, that he loved her, that they could survive this together. Or she could believe Gloria. Accept that she'd been groomed and manipulated. Use that narrative to protect herself while destroying the man she thought she'd loved. Or, and this was the option that terrified her most, she could tell the complete complicated truth. That she'd been both victim and participant. That Hyunwoo had manipulated her, and she'd let him. That she'd made choices knowing they'd hurt people because being seen felt more important than being good. Zara started the car and drove. Not to Hyunwoo's office. Not back to Gloria's penthouse. Not to the house where Simone was preparing for battle. She drove to the only person in this family who might understand. Hannah, her stepsister. The woman whose father Zara had been sleeping with for 6 months. The woman who had every right to hate her, but might be the only ally she had left. The clock ticked toward 3 p.m., and Zara prayed she wasn't too late to salvage anything from the wreckage she'd created. Hannah lived in a modest apartment downtown, a deliberate choice despite her trust fund. She'd always wanted independence from the Kang money, from her father's influence, from the weight of being a crime boss's daughter even if most people didn't know what he really did. Zara stood outside the door for a full minute before knocking, knowing this conversation would be brutal. Through the thin walls she could hear muffled voices, Hannah and David arguing. "Don't understand why you're defending him." Hannah's voice sharp with pain. "I'm not defending anyone. I'm saying we don't know the full story." David trying to be reasonable. "The full story is my father is fucking my stepsister. What other context do we need?" Zara knocked before she lost her nerve. The voices inside went silent. Footsteps approached, and then David opened the door, his expression carefully neutral behind his square-framed glasses. "Zara," he said quietly, "I don't think now is a good time." "Is there going to be a good time?" Zara met his eyes. "We have an hour until everyone gathers at the house. I need to talk to Hannah before that happens. Please." David hesitated, then stepped aside. "She's on the balcony." "Fair warning, she's not in a forgiving mood." "I'm not asking for forgiveness." Zara moved through the small apartment, neat, minimalist, so different from the opulent Kang estate. Through the glass door she could see Hannah standing at the railing, her small frame rigid, her long black hair whipping in the wind. Zara slid the door open and stepped out. "Hannah?" Her stepsister didn't turn. "You have a lot of nerve coming here." "I know. I need you to hear me. Before this afternoon. Before everything explodes publicly. Hear what? Your excuses? Your justification for betraying me, my mother, your own mother?" Hannah's voice cracked. "We were friends, Zara. Real friends. I trusted you. I told you things I've never told anyone. And the whole time you were sleeping with my father. I know how it looks." "How it looks?" Hannah spun around and Zara saw tears streaming down her face. "It doesn't just look bad. It is bad. You fucked my father, your stepfather, the man married to your mother. There's no angle that makes that okay. You're right, Zara said simply. There isn't. I destroyed our friendship. I betrayed your mother and mine. I violated every boundary that exists. You're completely right. Hannah blinked, clearly expecting defense or explanation. The straightforward agreement seemed to unbalance her. Then why did you do it? Zara leaned against the railing, looking out at Vancouver's skyline. Because he made me feel seen. Because I was broken after my business failed. And he made me feel valuable. Because he was powerful and controlled, and he chose me out of everyone. Because I'm selfish and weak, and I wanted to feel special more than I wanted to be good. That's it? You destroyed our family because it felt good? No? I destroyed our family because I'm damaged, and I thought his damage fit mine perfectly. Zara finally met Hannah's eyes. You asked me once why I never seriously dated. Why I kept everyone at arm's length. It's because I don't know how to be intimate without it being twisted, without power imbalances and control and the kind of intensity that burns everything down. That's not an excuse. It's not. It's an explanation. I'm not asking you to forgive me, Hannah. I'm asking you to understand that I'm aware of exactly how terrible this is. And I'm trying to figure out how to minimize the damage before 3 p.m. Hannah wiped her eyes angrily. Gloria called me this morning, told me everything, about you and Dad, about her and Marcus, about Mom knowing for weeks. She said this afternoon is going to destroy everyone, that Dad's going to lose his businesses, possibly face criminal charges, that you'll be painted as either a victim or a villain depending on who tells the story first. What do you think I am? Victim or villain? Hannah was quiet for a long moment. I think you're both. I think Dad manipulated you. He's good at that, finding broken people and making them dependent on him. But I also think you knew it was wrong and did it anyway. So you're both. Gloria wants me to testify that your father groomed me. That he orchestrated my business failure to make me vulnerable, that he used his position to coerce me. Did he? Zara thought about the emails Gloria had shown her, the evidence of sabotage. Hyunwoo's convenient timing in offering help. Maybe. I don't know. It felt like my choice. But maybe he engineered it so I'd feel like I was choosing when really he was controlling everything. That's Dad's specialty. Hannah's voice was bitter. Making people think they're free while he pulls all the strings. He did it to Mom, made her think leaving him was her idea when really he'd made the marriage so unbearable she had no choice. He's doing it to Marcus through Gloria. And he did it to you. You're saying I'm not responsible for my own choices? I'm saying responsibility is complicated when someone's been manipulating your circumstances. Hannah moved to the patio chair and sank into it. But you're still responsible for lying to me, for looking me in the eye every day and pretending to be my friend while betraying me. That part's all you. You're right. Zara sat in the chair across from her. For what it's worth, our friendship wasn't fake. I do love you. I do think of you as a sister, which makes what I did even worse. Yeah, it does. Hannah pulled her knees to her chest, looking impossibly young. This afternoon, what are you going to say? When everyone's there and Mum demands answers and Gloria reveals her evidence? I don't know yet. That's why I'm here. To ask what you need from me. What would hurt you least? Hannah laughed hollowly. There's no version of this that doesn't hurt. But I guess I need you to be honest. Completely honest. Don't try to protect Dad. Don't try to protect yourself. Just tell the truth about what happened and let the consequences fall where they fall. Even if the truth is complicated. Even if we're both guilty. Especially then. Hannah met her eyes. I'm so tired of everyone in this family performing, pretending, hiding. Just once I want someone to be real. Zara's phone buzzed. Hyunwoo, I know you're with Hannah. Don't let her poison you against me. I can explain everything if you give me a chance. Please come to the office. 1 hour until the meeting. Let me hold you one more time before everything ends. The text made Zara's chest tight. Even now, he was trying to control the narrative, trying to get her alone where his voice was the only one she'd hear. "He's texting you, isn't he?" Hannah asked. "Asking you to meet him, promising explanations. How did you know?" "Because that's what he does. Isolates people. Makes sure his version of events is the one they believe." Hannah's voice was sad. "He did the same thing to me growing up. Anytime Mom tried to tell me something about their marriage, he'd pull me aside and give me his side first. Made me think Mom was the problem. It took me years to realize he was gaslighting both of us." "I'm not going to meet him," Zara said, deleting the message. "Not alone. Not before the confrontation." "Good," Hannah stood. "We should go. It's almost 3. Everyone will be gathering." "Hannah?" Zara stood too. "I know I don't deserve it, but can I ask one thing?" "What?" "When this is over, when the dust settles, is there any possibility we could find our way back to being friends? Not now, not soon, but eventually." Hannah looked at her for a long moment. "I don't know. Ask me again in a year, after we've both had time to figure out who we are without Dad controlling us." It wasn't forgiveness, but it wasn't total rejection either. Zara would take it. They drove separately back to the estate, Zara's heart pounding harder with each mile. The circular driveway was already full when she arrived. Gloria's white Mercedes, Pastor Richard's sedan, even a car she didn't recognize that probably belonged to Julian. Everyone was here, the entire diseased family, gathering for the reckoning. Zara sat in her car for a moment, gathering courage. Her phone buzzed one more time. "Marcus, I'm scared, Z. Gloria's inside. Mom's inside. Everyone's going to know what I've been doing, what she's been doing to me. I can't face it." She called him immediately. "Marcus, where are you?" "Park down the street. I can't go in. I can't face Mom knowing about Gloria and me." "Then don't. You don't owe anyone an explanation about your private life." "It's not private. It's abuse. You said it yourself." His voice broke. "And the worst part is I still want to see her. Even knowing what she is, what she's done, I still need her. What's wrong with me?" "Nothing's wrong with you. Trauma bonds are real. What Gloria did, grooming you, conditioning you, isolating you, that's not your fault." "But I let it happen. I keep letting it happen." "So do I," Zara admitted quietly. "With Hyunwoo. I know it's toxic. I know he manipulated me. But part of me still wants him. Still craves that feeling of being controlled, being chosen, being seen. We're both sick, Marcus. But we can get better together. How? By telling the truth today. All of it. No more hiding, no more shame. Just honesty about what happened and what we're going to do about it." Marcus was quiet for a long moment. "Okay. I'm coming in. Meet me at the door. I'll be there." Zara got out of her car just as Marcus's old Honda pulled up. Her brother looked terrible, shaking, pale, on the verge of collapse. She wrapped him in a hug, and he clung to her like a drowning man. "We're going to survive this," she whispered. "Both of us. Promise? I promise we'll try. That's all I can give you right now." They walked to the front door together. Siblings bound by shared trauma and the wreckage of the family that was supposed to protect them. Inside, voices drifted from the living room. Simone's sharp tone, Gloria's controlled one, Hannah's tearful protests. The stage was set, the players assembled, the secrets about to explode. Zara and Marcus stepped through the door, and every conversation stopped. All eyes turned to them, Simone's filled with betrayal and rage, Gloria's with calculating triumph, Hannah's with complicated pain, David's with uncomfortable pity, and Hyunwoo, standing by the window in one of his immaculate suits, his salt and pepper hair perfect, his expression unreadable. When his dark eyes met Zara's, she felt that pull, the gravitational force that had drawn her to him for 6 months. But she also felt something new. Resistance, the beginning of breaking free. "Well," Gloria said, her voice cutting through the tension, "now that everyone's here, shall we begin?" Simone stood, and Zara saw that her mother had been crying, but beneath the tears was something harder, something planned. "Yes, let's begin. Hyunwoo, Zara, I think you have something to tell everyone. Simone, this isn't necessary, Hyunwoo started, but Simone cut him off. Don't try to control this narrative. Not anymore. She pulled out her phone, pulling up video footage. I installed cameras, real ones, and I have 6 months of evidence of my husband and my daughter violating our family, our home, our trust. She turned the phone toward the room. On the screen, grainy but unmistakable, was footage of Hyunwoo and Zara in his study. The date stamp showed 3 months ago. They weren't having sex on camera, Simone had been smart about that, but the intimacy was obvious. His hand in her hair, her body against his. The door closing as he pulled her deeper into the room. Hannah made a wounded sound. Pastor Richard closed his eyes. David looked away. How long? Simone's voice shook. How long have you been destroying our family? 6 months, Zara said before Hyunwoo could speak. Since I moved back home, it's been 6 months. The confirmation landed like a bomb. Simone's face crumpled, then hardened. 6 months. 6 months of lying. 6 months of watching you both act like a normal family while you... She couldn't finish. I'm sorry, Mom, Zara said, and meant it. I'm so sorry, there's no excuse, no justification. I hurt you in the worst possible way. Sorry isn't enough. Simone's shout filled the room. You took my husband! You destroyed my marriage! You... She turned to Hyunwoo. And you. You married me for legitimacy. For a ready-made family to hide your criminal empire behind. You never loved me. That's not true. Hyunwoo started, but Simone threw her phone at him. It hit his chest and clattered to the floor. Don't lie anymore, just don't. She was sobbing now, years of pain pouring out. I fought so hard to stay sober, to be a good wife, to make this family work, and you repay me by fucking my daughter. The crude word from Simone's mouth shocked everyone. She never cursed, never lost control. But she was losing control now. And Zara realized with growing horror that her mother wasn't just sad. She was dangerous. I want both of you out, Simone said, her voice dropping to something cold and final. Out of this house. Out of my life. As of now, you're both dead to me. Mum, Zara started, but Simone held up a hand. Don't call me that. You lost the right to call me that when you chose him over me. She looked at Marcus. You're the only family I have left. Your sister is dead to me. Marcus looked between them, torn. Mom, Actually, Gloria interrupted smoothly, before we finalize any decisions, there are other revelations that need to come out. Marcus, would you like to tell your mother about our relationship? Or shall I? The room went deathly silent. Marcus's face drained of colour. Simone turned slowly to look at her son. What is she talking about? Simone asked. Marcus opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. No words came out. Gloria smiled. Marcus and I have been intimate for over a year, since he came to work at my foundation. I've been mentoring him, in many ways. The implication was clear. Simone's eyes went wide. No. Marcus, tell me that's not true. Marcus's voice broke. Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen. She's 46 years old. You're 22. Simone looked like she might collapse. She's your stepfather's ex-wife. How could I what? Be manipulated by an older woman the same way Zara was manipulated by an older man? Marcus's voice gained strength, anger bleeding through. You want to disown Zara? Fine. Disown me too. Because I'm just as guilty. Just as broken. Just as desperate for someone to see me that I let them destroy me. Simone stared at her children, both of them involved in inappropriate relationships with members of the Kang family, and something inside her visibly shattered. This family is cursed, she whispered. Every single person in this room is diseased. Not every person, Pastor Richard spoke for the first time, his gentle voice cutting through the chaos. Some of us are just trying to survive in a family that's been toxic for generations. You're one to talk about toxic, Gloria turned on her father. Shall we tell everyone about Julian? About your secret relationship with a man young enough to be your grandson? Julian, who'd been sitting quietly in the corner, stood. I'm 28. Richard is 70. We're both adults. And unlike everyone else in this room, our relationship doesn't involve betrayal or manipulation. Just two people who found each other despite circumstances. How noble, Gloria's voice dripped sarcasm. The gay pastor and his boy toy. The recovering addict and her unfaithful husband. The stepfather fucking his stepdaughter. The ex-wife grooming her ex-husband's stepson. What a beautiful family portrait. Enough! Hannah's shout surprised everyone. Enough! You're all terrible. Every single adult in this room has lied, manipulated, betrayed, or abused someone, and I'm done watching. She grabbed David's hand. We're leaving. The wedding is postponed indefinitely. I need time away from all of you to figure out who I am when I'm not performing perfect daughter or perfect stepsister or perfect anything. Hannah, wait! Hyunwoo started toward her. Don't touch me. Hannah jerked back. You taught me to trust my instincts about people, Dad, to see through lies and manipulation. But you never taught me what to do when you're the liar, when you're the manipulator. So I'm figuring it out myself. And step one is getting far away from you. She and David left, the door slamming behind them with finality. In the silence that followed, Simone laughed, broken, bitter. Well, I guess that's that. My marriage is over, my family is destroyed, my children are both sleeping with Kangs. Congratulations, Hyunwoo. You wanted to own everything. Looks like you succeeded. Hyunwoo finally spoke, his voice tight with control. This isn't what I wanted. Isn't it? Gloria moved closer to him. You've always needed to control everything. Everyone. Your wives, your daughter, your stepchildren. Your entire empire built on making people dependent on you. Well, congratulations. You've destroyed everyone who loved you. Was it worth it? Hyunwoo looked at Zara, really looked at her. And for the first time since this started, she saw something in his eyes that might have been regret. Was it worth it? He asked her quietly. Zara thought about the past 6 months, the intensity, the passion, the feeling of being seen. And she thought about the cost, her mother's pain, Hannah's betrayal, Marcus's abuse by proxy, the family imploding. No, she said finally, it wasn't worth it, not even close. Something in Hyunwoo's expression cracked, but before he could respond, Simone's phone rang. She answered, listened, then her face went pale. What? Gloria asked. What is it? Simone lowered the phone slowly. That was the police. They're coming here. Now, someone filed charges against Hyunwoo for corruption of a minor. Zara's 25, Hyunwoo said. Not a minor. Not Zara. Simone's eyes locked on Gloria. Marcus. Someone provided evidence that you groomed him starting when he was 21, that you used your position as his employer to coerce him into a sexual relationship. That's abuse of power. Possibly sexual exploitation. Gloria's face went white. Who filed charges? The doorbell rang. Through the window, police cars were visible in the driveway. Simone smiled grimly. I did. An hour ago. I told them everything. About Marcus. About the grooming. About the evidence I have of him being coerced. Mum, no. Marcus started, but police were already at the door. Everything dissolved into chaos. Officers entering. Reading Gloria her rights, Hyunwoo trying to call lawyers, Marcus crying, Zara standing frozen as her mother got revenge in the most devastating way possible. As they led Gloria out in handcuffs, she looked at Simone with something like respect. Well played. This isn't a game, Simone said coldly. This is justice. But watching her brother break down, watching Hyunwoo's empire start to crumble, watching everything explode, Zara wasn't sure justice was the right word. Destruction, maybe. Consequence. The bill coming due for 6 months of selfish choices. Whatever it was, there was no going back now. The police station smelled like industrial cleaner and desperation. Zara sat in a hard plastic chair in the waiting area, Marcus beside her, both of them shell-shocked. 3 hours had passed since Gloria's arrest, and the world still felt tilted on its axis. Marcus hadn't stopped shaking. Mom had her arrested. Our mother called the police on Gloria. To protect you, Zara said, though she wasn't entirely sure that was true. Watching Simone's face as Gloria was led away, there had been satisfaction there. Victory. Something calculated that went beyond maternal protection. I didn't want this. Marcus's voice was small, broken. I never wanted Gloria arrested. I just wanted... I don't know what I wanted. A uniformed officer approached. Marcus Williams, they're ready to take your statement now. Marcus looked at Zara with panic in his eyes. Come with me. I can't. It has to be just you. She squeezed his hand. Tell them the truth, all of it, even the parts that make you feel ashamed. What if the truth is that I wanted some of it, that parts of what Gloria and I had felt good? Then you tell them that too. Consent is complicated when there's a power imbalance. They'll understand. But as Marcus disappeared with the officer, Zara wondered if anyone would understand. She barely understood her own situation with Hyunwoo. How could strangers untangle what had happened between Gloria and Marcus? Her phone buzzed. Hyunwoo. We need to talk. I'm at my downtown office, please come. There are things you need to know before this gets worse. Another text, this one from Simone. Don't go to him. Whatever he tells you will be manipulation. Come home. We need to discuss what happens next. And one from Hannah. David and I are at a hotel. I need space from everyone. But Zara, be careful. Dad's not going to go down without trying to take everyone with him. Zara stared at the messages. 3 different people trying to control her next move. The pattern was so obvious now. Everyone in her life trying to direct her, manipulate her, position her as a piece on their chessboard. She turned off her phone. An hour later, Marcus emerged, looking hollowed out. They want me to testify. If this goes to trial, they said Gloria could face serious charges. Sexual exploitation, abuse of power, coercion. They said I'm a victim. You are a victim. Then why don't I feel like one? Marcus's eyes filled with tears. Why do I feel guilty? Like I'm the one who did something wrong? Because that's what abuse does. It makes you doubt your own reality. Zara stood, wrapping her arm around her brother. Come on, let's get out of here. Where do we go? Home? That's not home anymore. He was right. The Kang estate had never really been home. It had been Hyunwoo's kingdom, where he ruled and everyone else played their assigned parts. Going back there felt like walking back into a cage. Hotel, Zara decided. We get a hotel room. We decompress and we figure out next steps away from everyone else's influence. They drove to a modest hotel downtown, checking in with fake brightness that fooled no one. The room was generic, 2 double beds, basic furniture, a view of an alley, but it was theirs. Neutral ground. Marcus collapsed onto one bed. I can't believe Mum did that, called the police. She didn't even ask me if I wanted to press charges. She was protecting you. Was she? Or was she punishing Gloria for sleeping with her ex-husband's stepson, for being part of the family that destroyed her marriage? Marcus stared at the ceiling. Mom's been sober for 3 years, but she's not the same person she was before the addiction. She's harder now, more calculating. Did you notice that? Zara had noticed. The way Simone had played this afternoon, revealing information strategically, timing Gloria's arrest for maximum impact, her satisfaction when everything exploded. It hadn't felt like a devastated wife discovering betrayal. It had felt like a general executing a planned attack. What do you think she wants? Zara asked. Revenge. Money. Control. Marcus rolled onto his side to face her. I heard her on the phone last week, talking to someone about assets, divorce settlements, custody of property. She's been planning this, Z, for weeks, maybe months. The cameras she mentioned, she didn't just install those recently. I think she's known about you and Hyunwoo for a long time. The implications made Zara's head spin. Why would she wait? Why let it continue if she knew? Because she needed evidence, ammunition. The longer Yu and Hyunwoo carried on, the more proof she accumulated. The worse it looked for him in divorce proceedings. Marcus sat up. Mum's not the victim here. None of us are just victims. We're all players in whatever game this family's been running. Before Zara could respond, someone knocked on the hotel room door. She checked the peephole and her stomach dropped. Hyunwoo stood in the hallway, still in his expensive suit, looking exhausted in a way she'd never seen before. "Don't open it," Marcus said immediately. "Z, don't." But her hand was already on the doorknob. Some part of her, the addicted part, the part that still craved his voice, his presence, his control, needed to face him one more time. She opened the door. "How did you find us?" Zara asked, blocking the entrance. "I own half the hotels in this city. Finding you took one phone call." Hyunwoo's dark eyes were bloodshot, his usually perfect hair slightly disheveled. "Can we talk? Please. 5 minutes." "No," Marcus called from inside. "She doesn't owe you anything." Hyunwoo's gaze shifted past Zara to her brother. "Marcus, I'm sorry about Gloria. What she did to you." "Don't." Marcus's voice was sharp. "You knew. For how long? A year? You knew your ex-wife was abusing your stepson, and you did nothing. I didn't realize the extent. Bullshit. You run a criminal empire. You know everything that happens in your world. You let it continue because it was useful. Because Gloria having her own secrets meant she wouldn't expose yours." Marcus appeared at Zara's shoulder. "You're a predator who surrounds himself with other predators so no one notices what you're doing." The accusation hung in the air. Hyunwoo didn't deny it. "You're right," he said quietly. "I saw what Gloria was doing and I didn't intervene. I told myself Marcus was an adult, that it wasn't my business, but the truth is I was protecting myself. Protecting my arrangement with Zara." "Don't call it an arrangement," Zara said. "That makes it sound like a business deal." "Wasn't it?" Hyunwoo's voice was gentle, which somehow made it worse. "I gave you financial stability, business connections, protection. You gave me the thrill of the forbidden, the ego boost of being chosen by someone young and beautiful. We both got something out of it. I thought you loved me. I do love you. But that doesn't mean I didn't also use you." He reached out, then dropped his hand when she flinched. "That's what I came here to tell you, that you were right this afternoon, about all of it. I did sabotage your business. I did engineer your dependence. I did manipulate the situation so you'd feel like you needed me." The confession should have brought relief, validation that she'd been manipulated, that she wasn't entirely responsible. Instead, it just made her feel hollow. "Why are you admitting this now?" "Because Gloria's lawyer is going to use my relationship with you to prove she's not the only Kang who preys on vulnerable young people. Because Simone's going to drag me through the divorce and she'll use you as evidence of my character. Because everything's coming out anyway. So I might as well control the narrative by telling the truth first." "Control the narrative?" Zara laughed bitterly. "That's all you care about. Not me, not Marcus, not the people you've destroyed, just managing your image. That's not fair. Isn't it? You're here because it's strategic, not because you actually feel bad about what you did." She stepped back. "Get out, Hyunwoo. We're done. Completely done." "Zara, please." She said leave. Marcus moved to stand beside his sister, and despite everything, despite being broken himself, he found strength to protect her. "You don't get to manipulate her anymore. You don't get to spin this. Just go." Hyunwoo looked between them, two siblings damaged by the Kang family but standing together. And something in his expression shifted. Resignation, maybe. Or the calculation that this battle was lost. "I'll have my lawyer send paperwork," he said, "for both of you. Severance packages. Money to help you start over away from all this. It's not compensation. Nothing could compensate for what I've done. But it's something." "We don't want your money," Zara said. "You'll take it anyway, because you're smart enough to know that leaving with nothing would be letting me win." A sad smile crossed his face. "That's one thing I did teach you. Never leave the table without taking what you're owed. He left without another word, and Zara closed the door with shaking hands. The silence in the room was deafening. He's right, you know, Marcus said finally. We should take whatever money he offers, use it to get far away from here and never look back. Is that what you want? To leave Vancouver? I want to leave this family. The city just comes with it. Marcus returned to his bed, curling up on his side. I'm tired, Z. So tired of being broken, of being manipulated, of not knowing where the abuse ends and my own choices begin. Zara lay on her own bed, staring at the ceiling. Her phone was still off, but she could imagine the messages accumulating. Simone demanding she come home, Hannah asking if she was okay, David being reasonable, maybe even Gloria's lawyer trying to contact her about testifying. Everyone wanted something from her. Everyone had an agenda. What do we do now? She asked the ceiling. We survive, Marcus answered, however we can. And then, when we're strong enough, we figure out how to live instead of just survive. It wasn't much of a plan, but it was honest. Which was more than anyone in the Kang family had been for years. Zara's phone, still turned off on the nightstand, vibrated with an incoming call, then another, then a third. The outside world demanding her attention, demanding she make choices, demanding she take sides in a war she'd never wanted to fight. She left it off. For tonight at least, she and Marcus could exist in this bubble. Two survivors trying to figure out how to be whole again. The real battles would start tomorrow. Meanwhile, across the city, Simone Williams Kang sat in her lawyer's office reviewing divorce papers. The prenup Hyun-woo had insisted on 3 years ago was ironclad, unless she could prove infidelity with someone under his care, which she now could, thanks to Zara. With this evidence, her lawyer said, tapping the folder of security footage, you'll get half of everything, the legitimate businesses at least. The criminal empire is trickier, but we can argue you deserve compensation for the risk you were exposed to unknowingly. And custody? Simone asked. Your children are adults. There's no custody. Not of children. Of the narrative. Simone's smile was cold. I want to be the one who tells this story. The recovering addict who trusted the wrong man, the mother whose daughter was groomed by her stepfather, the woman who fought back. Her lawyer shifted uncomfortably. You understand that narrative requires your daughter to testify that she was groomed. Are you sure Zara will go along with that? She will if she's smart. It's the only version that doesn't destroy her completely. Simone pulled out her phone, scrolling through messages. And if she's not smart enough to see that, I'll convince her. One way or another, Kang Hyun-woo is going to lose everything. His businesses, his reputation, his freedom. What about Gloria's arrest? If she talks, she could reveal information about Hyun-woo's operations, things that could help or hurt your case. Let her talk. Simone's expression was calculating. The more the Kangs destroy each other, the cleaner I come out. By the time this is over, I'll be the hero, the woman who saved her son from a predator and exposed her husband's crimes, the perfect victim. Her lawyer looked at her with something like fear. You're not actually a victim, are you? You've been planning this. Does it matter? I was married to a criminal who betrayed me with my own daughter. That's victim enough for any jury. Simone stood, smoothing her dress. Set up meetings with the media. Local news first, then national, if they're interested. I want to control this story before anyone else can. As she left the office, Simone checked her reflection in the elevator's mirrored walls. 3 years sober. 3 years of playing the grateful wife. 3 years of watching and waiting and planning. Everyone thought recovery was about weakness, about admitting you couldn't control your addiction. But Simone had learned the opposite. Recovery was about control, about playing the long game, about being patient enough to wait for your moment. Her moment had arrived. And she was going to make sure everyone paid for underestimating her, especially her daughter. In her holding cell, Gloria Kang sat with perfect posture, her cream cashmere outfit slightly rumpled, but her composure intact. They'd offered her a phone call to her lawyer. She'd made a different call. "Mother," she said when Diane answered, "I need your help. Time to call in every favor you have. I'm not going down alone." Diane's voice came through sharp with excitement. "What do you need?" "Proof that Hyunwoo orchestrated everything, that he sabotaged Zara's business, that he manipulated Marcus into working for me, that he's been running this family like a criminal organization for decades. I'm not the predator here, I'm another one of his victims. You want to flip the script. I want to survive. And if that means taking down my ex-husband and his new family, so be it." Gloria's smile was ice. "You've been waiting for years to destroy him. Now's your chance. Help me, and we both get what we want." Diane laughed. "Oh, darling, I thought you'd never ask. I have so much evidence, so many secrets. When I'm done, there won't be a Kang left standing." As Gloria ended the call, she felt something like satisfaction. They all thought they could destroy her. Simone with her victim narrative, Hyunwoo with his lawyers, Marcus with his testimony. But Gloria hadn't survived 18 years married to Vancouver's most dangerous criminal by being weak. She'd survived by being more dangerous than he was, and now everyone would see it. The war had officially begun. The news broke 3 days later. Zara was in the hotel room when Marcus turned on the television, and her face appeared on the screen. Not a photo, actual footage, grainy security camera footage, of her entering Hyunwoo's downtown office. The timestamp showed 2 months ago. The Chiron read, "Vancouver crime boss accused of grooming stepdaughter." "Turn it off," Zara said immediately, but Marcus was frozen, watching. The news anchor's voice was professionally concerned. "Kang Hyunwoo, prominent real estate developer with alleged ties to organized crime, is facing multiple accusations today. His ex-wife Gloria Kang was arrested earlier this week on charges of sexual exploitation involving a family member. Now, new allegations have emerged involving Kang himself and his 25-year-old stepdaughter, Zara Williams." The screen cut to Simone, sitting in what looked like a lawyer's office, tissue in hand, looking devastated. Zara's mother spoke directly to the camera. "I trusted this man with my family, with my children. He married me 3 years ago when I was fresh out of rehab, vulnerable and desperate for stability. And he used that trust to prey on my daughter. She was only 22 when we married, barely an adult. He groomed her, isolated her, made her dependent on him. And then he..." Simone's voice broke convincingly. "He destroyed her. Destroyed all of us." "That's not..." Zara started, but the interview continued. The anchor. "Mrs. Kang, your daughter Zara was 25 when the alleged relationship began. Some might argue she's old enough to make her own choices." Simone's response was perfect, practiced. "He engineered her business failure. We have evidence, emails, financial records, showing he paid clients to drop her. He manufactured her vulnerability so she'd move back into our home. And then, as her stepfather, someone she was supposed to trust, he exploited that vulnerability. That's grooming. That's abuse of power. The fact that she's legally an adult doesn't change that." The news cut to a legal expert discussing power dynamics, step-parent relationships, and the grey areas of consent. Then to footage of Gloria being led from the courthouse, her lawyer making statements about countersuits and false allegations. Zara's phone, which she'd finally turned back on that morning, immediately began buzzing. Unknown numbers, news outlets, former clients, everyone wanting a statement, a comment, a piece of the story. Marcus muted the television. "Z, is any of that true? Did Hyunwoo sabotage your business?" "I don't know. Gloria showed me evidence, but..." Zara pressed her hands to her face. "I thought I made choices, but maybe those choices were manipulated from the start. I don't know what's real anymore." "You need to make a statement, before Mom controls the entire narrative." "What would I even say?" Before Marcus could answer, Zara's phone rang with a number she recognized. Hannah. "Are you watching this?" Hannah's voice was strained. "The news. They're making you look like a victim who had no agency. Is that what you want?" "I don't know what I want. I just want it to stop." "Well, it's not going to stop. Dad's lawyer called me. They want me to testify that you pursued him, that you were the aggressor, that you manipulated him, not the other way around." Zara's stomach turned. "That's not true." "Isn't some of it true?" "You made choices, Zara. You kept going back. You knew it was wrong and you did it anyway." Hannah's voice softened slightly. "I'm not saying you're entirely to blame. But your mum's version, where you're just a helpless victim, that's not accurate either." "So what's the truth?" "The truth is complicated. You were manipulated and you made bad choices. He groomed you and you participated. You're both guilty." "But complexity doesn't play well in court or in the media. So everyone's picking their version. You're either the villain or the victim, and you need to decide which one you're going to be." After Hannah hung up, Zara sat in silence. Her phone continued buzzing. More calls, more messages, the world demanding she choose a narrative and commit to it. A text came through from a number she didn't recognize. "This is Diane Park, Gloria's mother. We should meet. I have information that could help you. Information about what Hyunwoo really is." DP. "Don't respond to that," Marcus said immediately. "Diane's as bad as the rest of them. Worse, maybe." But Zara was already typing. Where and when? They met at a cafe far from downtown, in a neighborhood where no one would recognize them. Diane Park arrived looking immaculate despite being 68. Designer suit, perfectly styled grey hair, red lipstick sharp as a weapon. "Zara Williams," Diane said, settling into the booth across from her. "You're even prettier in person." "I can see why Hyunwoo couldn't resist." "Let's skip the pleasantries. What do you want?" Diane smiled approvingly. "Direct? Good. Your mother is playing the victim card, which is smart. Public sympathy, potential financial settlement, criminal charges against Hyunwoo. But that narrative requires you to play along, to admit you were groomed and manipulated, to give up your agency in exchange for protection. And you're offering an alternative? I'm offering the truth." Diane pulled out a tablet, pulling up documents. "Hyunwoo has been running a criminal empire for 25 years. Money laundering, smuggling, extortion. Your mother knew. She's been complicit since the day they married. She wasn't some innocent victim. She was a willing participant who used her recovering addict image as cover." The documents on the screen showed financial transfers, business dealings, names Zara recognized from family dinners, all tied to illegal operations. "Why are you showing me this?" Zara asked. "Because Gloria's facing prison for something Hyunwoo orchestrated. He encouraged her relationship with Marcus, probably suggested she hire him in the first place. He knew what would happen. Gloria has always been drawn to vulnerable, brilliant young men. He set Marcus up as bait. That's insane. Is it? Or is it exactly what a master manipulator would do? Create a situation where his ex-wife commits crimes while he stays clean?" Diane leaned forward. "Hyunwoo has been setting people up for years. Your business failure? He orchestrated it. Marcus working for Gloria? He arranged it. Even your mother's phone call to the police. I'd bet money he planted the idea somehow." Zara's head spun. "That would mean everyone's been playing parts in his game." "Exactly. And the only way to beat him is to expose the whole system. Show that none of you are simply victims or villains. You're all pieces he's been moving around his chessboard." Diane's eyes glittered. "Help me take him down completely. Testify about the criminal operations you witnessed living in his house. Provide evidence of his manipulation tactics. And in exchange, I'll make sure you're not painted as either victim or homewrecker. You'll be what you actually are. Someone who got caught in a very dangerous man's web. What do you get out of this? Revenge. Against the man who rejected my daughter, destroyed my family, and thinks he's untouchable." Diane's smile was cold. I've been collecting evidence for 5 years, but I need someone on the inside, someone who lived with him, someone credible. Zara looked at the documents, the evidence, the paper trail of Hyunwoo's crimes. If even half of it was true, he'd been playing everyone from the beginning. I need to think about it, she said. Think fast. Your mother's giving another interview tomorrow. Once her narrative is set, changing it will be nearly impossible. Diane stood. You have my number. Call me when you're ready to stop being a chess piece and start being a player. After she left, Zara sat with cold coffee and colder revelations. Every version of events she'd believed was being challenged. Hyunwoo the manipulator or Hyunwoo the victim? Simone the wounded wife or Simone the complicit criminal? Gloria the predator or Gloria the pawn? And herself victim, villain, or something too complicated for either label. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Hannah. Meet me at our old spot, the coffee shop where we used to study. Please, I need to talk to you away from everyone else's agendas. H. The coffee shop was empty on a Tuesday afternoon. Hannah sat in their old corner booth looking exhausted. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. Her long hair was in a messy ponytail and she'd clearly been crying. Thanks for coming, Hannah said as Zara slid into the booth across from her. I know you don't owe me anything. You're still my stepsister. That doesn't just go away because everything's a disaster. Hannah laughed bitterly. Stepsister. That word's been twisted so many times in the last week, I don't even know what it means anymore. Are we family? Are we enemies? Are we both victims of the same man? I don't know. Maybe all three. Dad's lawyer wants me to testify against you. Your mom wants me to testify against Dad. Gloria's lawyer wants me to testify that everyone's terrible except her. Hannah's voice broke. I just want to tell the truth. But I don't even know what the truth is anymore. Join the club. They sat in silence for a moment, two young women trying to navigate the wreckage of their families. Did you love him? Hannah asked suddenly. My father. Did you actually love him, or was it just the thrill, the forbidden aspect? Zara thought about it honestly. I thought I loved him. The way he saw me. The way he made me feel powerful and powerless at the same time. But looking back, I don't know if I loved him or loved the way I felt about myself when I was with him. Does that make sense? Unfortunately, yes. Hannah stirred her untouched coffee. David and I broke up. Last night. He said I was too damaged to be in a relationship right now, that I needed to figure out who I am without my father's influence before I could be a real partner. I'm sorry. Don't be. He's right. Hannah finally met Zara's eyes. We're all damaged by Dad, aren't we? Me, you, Marcus, even Mom before the divorce. He collects broken people and makes us dependent on him. That's his pattern. Diane showed me evidence that he orchestrated all of it. My business failure, Marcus working for Gloria, maybe even your mom knowing about us. Hannah nodded slowly. I believe it. When I was 16, I had this friend, Sarah. She was getting too close to me, might have pulled me away from Dad's influence. She got accepted to a boarding school in Switzerland out of nowhere. Full scholarship. Dad was so supportive of her going. I thought he was being generous. But looking back, she trailed off. He removes anyone who threatens his control. What are you going to do when this goes to trial? Tell the truth, all of it. That Dad's a manipulative criminal who controlled our whole family. That you made bad choices but were also manipulated. That Mom knew about his criminal operations and benefited from them. That everyone's guilty of something. Hannah's voice strengthened. I'm not protecting anyone anymore. Not Dad, not your mom, not you. Just the truth. That's going to make you very unpopular. I don't care. I'm tired of performing. Tired of being perfect, Kang Hannah, protecting the family image. Let it all burn. Maybe something honest can grow from the ashes. Zara's phone buzzed. Marcus, where are you? There's someone at the hotel asking for you. Says she's a reporter. I didn't let her in, but she's persistent. Another text from Simone. Come home. We need to prepare for tomorrow's interview. You're joining me. We present a united front, mother and daughter, both victims of Kang Hyun-woo, and one from Hyun-woo's lawyer, Ms. Williams. We need to discuss your testimony. Mr. Kang is willing to offer a substantial settlement in exchange for your cooperation. Please call at your earliest convenience. Everyone wanted her to choose a side, to commit to a narrative, to be either victim or villain, never the complicated truth. I'm not going to testify for anyone, Zara said suddenly. Not my mom, not Hyun-woo, not Gloria. I'm done being used. What are you going to do? Leave. Take Marcus and leave Vancouver. Let them all destroy each other without us. She stood. You should come too. Get away from all of this. Hannah considered it, then shook her head. I can't. Not yet. Someone needs to stay and make sure the truth actually comes out. But Zara, she grabbed her former best friend's hand, when this is over, when the trials are done and the media moves on, call me. Wherever you end up, we'll try to figure out how to be family again. Real family, not the performance version. I'd like that. They parted with a hug that felt like both goodbye and the promise of something better someday. Back at the hotel, Zara found Marcus packing their few belongings. We're leaving, he said before she could speak. Tonight. I already bought bus tickets to Seattle. We stay there a few days, then maybe Portland, then who knows. But we're getting out of Vancouver before they subpoena us to testify. They'll find us eventually. Let them. By then, maybe we'll have figured out what we actually want to say. Marcus zipped his bag. I called a lawyer, a real one. Not one paid by any of the Kangs or Mom. She says we can't be forced to testify if we leave the jurisdiction voluntarily. As long as we don't flee once we're formally subpoenaed, it's not illegal. What about money? Marcus pulled out a bank statement. I transferred the severance Hyun-woo offered. It hit our accounts this morning. 50,000 each. It's blood money, but it's enough to start over. Zara thought about refusing it on principle, but Hannah was right. Leaving with nothing would be letting Hyun-woo win. Okay, let's go. As they packed, Zara's phone rang one more time. Simone. Mom, Zara answered, and the word felt foreign now. Where are you? The interview is tomorrow morning. You need to be there. We're doing this together. I'm not doing the interview. I'm not testifying. I'm leaving, Mom. Marcus and I are both leaving. Silence. Then, you can't run from this. I'm not running. I'm choosing not to participate in anyone's narrative. Not yours, not Hyun-woo's, not Gloria's. You all want to destroy each other. Go ahead. But you're doing it without me. If you don't testify against Hyun-woo, he might walk. Is that what you want? I want to not be a weapon in your war. Zara's voice was steady. You weren't just a victim, Mom. Diane showed me the evidence. You knew about Hyun-woo's crimes. You benefited from them. You're not some innocent recovering addict. You're complicit. Another silence. Then Simone's voice colder. Diane's manipulating you. Whatever she showed you is probably true. Just like what Gloria showed me was probably true. And what Hyun-woo told me has kernels of truth. You're all liars. You're all users. And I'm done trying to figure out who's the biggest monster. You're making a mistake. Maybe. But it's my mistake. For the first time in 6 months, I'm making my own choice. Zara hung up before her mother could respond. Marcus was watching her from the doorway. Ready? Yeah. Let's go. They left the hotel through a back exit, avoiding the reporter still camped in the lobby. The bus station was quiet at 11 p.m., just a few travellers and the hum of fluorescent lights. As they waited for the midnight bus to Seattle, Zara watched the news on the station's television. More coverage of the Kang family scandal. Photos of Hyun-woo looking composed but embattled. Simone crying in interviews, Gloria's mugshot, Hannah and David's engagement photos with speculation about their breakup, and her own face frozen in a moment from security footage. looking young and uncertain as she entered Hyunwoo's office months ago. "That feels like a different person," Zara said quietly. "It was," Marcus agreed. "We're different people now. The question is whether we're better or just more broken. Both, probably." The bus pulled up, and they boarded with their small bags and their blood money and their complicated truths. As Vancouver disappeared behind them, Zara felt something loosen in her chest. Not relief exactly, but the beginning of breathing again. Her phone buzzed one last time before she turned it off completely. A text from Hyunwoo. "I understand why you're leaving. I hope someday you'll understand I did love you in my way. It was twisted and selfish and destructive, but it was love. Be safe, Zara. Be free. You deserve better than anything I could give you." KW, she didn't respond. Just powered off the phone and closed her eyes as the bus carried them toward whatever came next. Behind them, Vancouver prepared for war. Simone's interview, Gloria's defense, Hyunwoo's lawyers, the trials that would expose every secret, every crime, every betrayal. But Zara and Marcus wouldn't be there to see it. They were done being chess pieces in other people's games. Now they had to figure out how to be themselves again, if they ever had been to begin with. 3 months later, Seattle felt like a different planet. Zara stood in the small studio apartment she and Marcus shared in Capitol Hill, watching rain streak down the windows. The space was cramped. One bedroom they'd divided with a curtain, a kitchen barely big enough for one person, furniture from IKEA and Goodwill. Nothing like the Kang estate with its marble floors and designer everything. It was the first place that had ever felt like home. Marcus emerged from behind the curtain, dressed for his new job at a local bookstore. 3 months of therapy had helped. He'd gained back some weight, stopped trembling constantly, could sleep through most nights now. But the haunted look in his eyes remained, probably always would. "You're doing the thing again," he said, grabbing his jacket. "What thing?" Staring out the window, thinking about Vancouver. About them. Marcus moved beside her. "See, you promised. We don't look back. We only look forward." "I know, it's just..." Her phone buzzed on the counter. Not her old number. They'd gotten new phones, new numbers, a clean break. This was her therapist's office confirming her appointment for later. "Hannah texted yesterday on my old email, said the trials start next week." Marcus's jaw tightened. "Did you respond?" "No, but I wanted to." Zara turned from the window. "Don't you wonder what's happening? How it's going? Who's winning? Every day. But wondering is different from participating." Her brother grabbed his messenger bag. "We made a choice. To leave. To not be weapons in their war. We can't second-guess it now." The lawyer called again. Said we might be subpoenaed anyway. That leaving the state doesn't protect us forever. Then we'll deal with it if it happens. But until then, we focus on healing. On building lives that aren't defined by what they did to us. Marcus kissed her forehead. A brotherly gesture that 3 months ago would have been impossible, when he couldn't stand to be touched by anyone. "I'm late. See you tonight?" "Yeah." "I'm meeting with a potential client at 2. Small wedding, nothing fancy, but it's a start." After Marcus left, Zara made coffee and opened her laptop. She'd promised herself she wouldn't look, wouldn't follow the news from Vancouver, wouldn't torture herself with updates on the people she'd left behind. She lasted 15 minutes before opening the browser. The headlines hit her immediately. Kang Hyunwoo, trial begins. Crime boss or victim of vindictive ex-wife. Simone Williams takes the stand. He destroyed my family. Gloria Kang defense claims frame job, points to ex-husband's criminal empire. Hannah Kang's shocking testimony. My entire family is guilty. Zara clicked on the last one. The article included video footage from the courthouse, Hannah in a black suit looking older than her 24 years. The reporter's voiceover. In a stunning turn, Hannah Kang testified against both her father and her stepmother, painting a picture of a family where everyone participated in criminal activity and psychological manipulation. Cut to Hannah on the stand, her voice steady. My father ran a criminal empire. My mother knew and benefited. My stepmother Simone wasn't an innocent victim. She was aware of the illegal operations and actively participated in money laundering through the charitable foundation. And my stepsister Zara... Hannah paused, emotion flickering across her face. Zara made bad choices, but she was also groomed and manipulated. The truth is complicated. Everyone's guilty. Everyone's a victim. Those things can coexist. The defense attorney. Ms. Kang, isn't it true you have a grudge against your father? That you're testifying out of revenge, not honesty? Hannah. I'm testifying because I'm done protecting people who don't deserve it, including myself. I knew about Dad's operations. I benefited from the money. I stayed silent. I'm guilty too, but I'm done lying about it. The article went on to detail Hannah's testimony about Hyunwoo's manipulation tactics, Simone's complicity in criminal operations, Gloria's increasingly erratic behavior, and the general dysfunction that had defined the Kang family for decades. Another article showed Simone's interview, her carefully crafted victim narrative falling apart under cross-examination when the defense produced bank records showing she'd been laundering money for years. And Gloria, whose defense team was arguing she'd been manipulated by Hyunwoo into abusing Marcus. That she was just another victim of his control, except Hannah's testimony contradicted that too. They're all destroying each other, Zara whispered to her empty apartment. Just like we knew they would. Her phone rang. Her new number, which only a handful of people had. The screen showed Diane Park. Zara's hand hovered over the decline button. She'd given Diane her new number before leaving Vancouver, a moment of weakness. Now she regretted it. But curiosity won, she answered. Ms. Williams, Diane's cultured voice came through. I hope Seattle is treating you well. How did you know I'm in Seattle? Please, I have resources, but I'm not calling to invade your privacy. I'm calling because the trials are falling apart. Everyone's testimony contradicts everyone else's. The jury is confused. The judge is frustrated. And Hyunwoo's lawyers are using the chaos to create reasonable doubt. Why are you telling me this? Because you're the key. You and Marcus. You're the only ones who can testify without an agenda. Without revenge or self-preservation clouding your truth. The prosecution needs you. We're not coming back. Not even to make sure justice is served. Not even to prevent Hyunwoo from walking away free. Zara closed her laptop, shutting out the images of courtroom drama. What is justice in this situation, Diane? Everyone committed crimes. Everyone hurt someone. Everyone lied. Putting one person in prison doesn't fix that. So you're content letting them all go free? I'm content letting them face whatever consequences come without using me as ammunition. Zara's voice hardened. You included. I know what you want, Diane. Revenge on Hyunwoo for rejecting Gloria. Revenge on Gloria for being the daughter you couldn't control. You're no better than any of them. Diane was quiet for a moment. Perhaps not. But I'm honest about what I am. Can you say the same? I'm working on it. Goodbye, Diane. Zara hung up and immediately blocked the number. Her hands were shaking from anger, from fear, from the pull of Vancouver trying to drag her back. Her therapist's voice echoed in her head. You can't control what they do. You can only control how you respond. Choose yourself, Zara. Every time, choose yourself. She made another coffee and forced herself to focus on her client meeting. A young couple, their first wedding. Nothing to do with crime families or forbidden affairs. Normal. Healthy. The kind of event that reminded her why she'd loved this work in the first place. That evening, Marcus came home to find Zara cooking dinner. A small miracle considering 3 months ago, neither of them could eat without anxiety. Diane called, Zara said as he set down groceries. Wants us to testify. Says the trials are chaos without us. Marcus was quiet, putting away food with methodical precision. Miss Gloria called me too, from jail. They let her make phone calls. Zara's heart sank. What did she say? That she misses me. That she's sorry for hurting me. that if I testified on her behalf, explained that I was a willing participant, it would help her defense. His hands trembled slightly. That she still loves me. That what we had was real. Marcus. I hung up on her. But Z, for a minute. His voice broke. For a minute. I wanted to believe her. Wanted to go back. Wanted to feel that intensity again, even knowing how toxic it was. How fucked up is that? It's trauma bonding. Your therapist explained it. It's not your fault. Feels like my fault. Marcus sank onto their second-hand couch. I'm in therapy 3 times a week. I'm on medication. I'm doing everything right. And I still miss her. Still feel like part of me belongs to her. Zara sat beside him, wrapping an arm around his shoulders. It gets easier. That's what they tell us, right? That the pull fades. The addiction weakens. Eventually we remember how to be whole without them. Do you miss him, Hyunwoo? The honest answer was complicated. I miss the feeling, the intensity, being that important to someone powerful. But do I miss him specifically? The real him? Not the fantasy. Zara considered. No, I think I fell in love with how I felt about myself when I was with him. And that's not the same as loving him. But you still think about him. Every day. Just not in the way I used to. Now it's more like examining a scar, trying to understand how I got it so I don't get hurt the same way again. Marcus leaned against her. We're going to be okay, right? Eventually. Yeah, eventually. They ate dinner together, watched a movie that had nothing to do with crime or family drama, and went to bed early. Normal life. Boring life. The kind of life that 3 months ago had seemed impossible. But that night, Zara dreamed of Vancouver, of Hyunwoo's voice commanding her, of the master bathroom where everything had started to unravel, of her mother's face when the truth came out. She woke at 3 a.m., drenched in sweat, Marcus shaking her shoulder. You were saying his name, her brother said quietly, in your sleep. You were saying, "Stepdaddy, please." The shame crashed over her. I'm sorry, I didn't mean... I know, I have nightmares too. About Miss Gloria. About things we did. Marcus handed her water. The therapist said it's normal, that it takes time to rewire our brains, that we might always carry this. That's depressing. Or realistic. He sat on the edge of her bed. Maybe we don't fully heal. Maybe we just learn to live with the scars. Build good lives around the damaged parts. When did you get so wise? Therapy. Lots and lots of therapy. They sat in comfortable silence, 2 survivors in the middle of the night, learning how to be okay. The next day, everything changed. Zara was meeting with her wedding client when her phone exploded with news alerts. She glanced at the screen and her stomach dropped. Breaking. Kang. Hyunwoo. Arrested on new charges. Witness. Comes forward. She excused herself, stepping outside the cafe to read the full article. A new witness had testified. Someone from Hyunwoo's inner circle. A former business partner named Yoon, who'd apparently been cooperating with federal investigators for months. He'd provided detailed evidence of criminal operations, money laundering, and, most damning proof, that Hyunwoo had orchestrated multiple manipulations, including Zara's business failure. The evidence was irrefutable. Emails, financial transfers, recorded conversations. Everything Diane had hinted at, now confirmed by an actual member of Hyunwoo's organization. Hyunwoo was facing decades in federal prison. Simone was being charged as an accessory. Gloria's defense had collapsed entirely. The empire was burning. Zara's phone rang. Hannah. Did you see? Hannah's voice was tired but relieved. It's over. Dad's going away. Mom too, probably. Gloria, definitely. It's actually over. How are you? Homeless. Broke. My trust fund is frozen as proceeds of criminal activity. David won't return my calls. I have nothing left. Hannah laughed, slightly hysterical. But I also feel lighter than I have in years. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. There's going to be a sentencing hearing in 3 months. After all the trials conclude, I'm going to face them. To say goodbye to who I used to be. Hannah paused. Will you come, you and Marcus? Not to testify, just to be there. As family. As survivors. Zara thought about it. About seeing Hyunwoo one last time, about facing her mother, about closure or whatever therapy called it. I'll ask Marcus, but Hannah? Even if we don't come, you're going to be okay. You're strong, you're honest. You're everything they couldn't destroy. So are you, stepsister. So are you. After hanging up, Zara walked back into the cafe where her client waited patiently. A young woman planning her wedding, completely normal, untouched by the chaos that had defined Zara's life for the past year. Sorry about that, Zara said, sitting down with a smile. Family stuff. Where were we? They discussed centerpieces and color schemes and all the tiny details that made a wedding special. And for the first time in months, Zara felt present, not performing, not pretending, just existing in the moment. When she got home, Marcus was at the kitchen table with his laptop reading the same news she'd seen. They're all going to prison, he said without looking up. Everyone. Hyunwoo, Simone, Gloria. Pastor Richard might face charges too for helping cover up crimes. The whole family's going down. Hannah asked if we'd come to the sentencing in 3 months. Marcus closed his laptop. Do you want to? Part of me does. The part that needs closure. That wants to face them one last time and prove I survived. And the other part? The other part wants to never see any of them again. To let them be a chapter that's over. To build a life so good, so healthy, that they become irrelevant. Both are valid choices, Marcus said. We have 3 months to decide. They spent the evening in comfortable silence, each processing in their own way. The news played in the background, legal analysts discussing the case, speculation about sentences, interviews with people who'd known the Kang family. At one point, they showed a photo of the 4 of them from 2 years ago. Hyunwoo and Simone's anniversary party, everyone smiling, the picture of a perfect blended family. We all look so happy, Marcus said quietly. But it was all fake, all performance. Not all of it, Zara corrected. You and I, we were real. We still are. That's something they couldn't destroy. Yeah, we're real. As night fell, Zara realized something. She'd gone a whole day without obsessively checking for updates, without analyzing every detail, without letting Vancouver and the Kangs and the trials consume her. Progress. Small but real. Her phone buzzed one more time. A text from an unknown number that had somehow gotten through despite her changed number. I hope Seattle is good to you. I hope you find peace. I hope someday you can forgive me, though I don't deserve it. I loved you. In my broken way, I loved you. Be happy, Zara. Be free. Shadbu. She stared at the message for a long moment, feeling that familiar pull, the part of her that wanted to respond, to engage, to maintain connection. Instead, she deleted it, blocked the number, and turned off her phone. You okay? Marcus asked from across the room. Yeah, I think I actually am. 3 months until the sentencing. 3 months to decide if they'd face their past one final time or let it recede into memory. 3 months to figure out who Zara and Marcus Williams were when they weren't defined by the people who'd tried to destroy them. Outside, Seattle rain continued to fall, washing everything clean. And inside, 2 survivors began to understand what freedom might actually feel like. 3 months passed like a dream and a nightmare simultaneously. Zara's event planning business grew slowly but steadily. Small weddings, corporate events, birthday parties for people who had no idea who she was or what she'd survived. Marcus thrived at the bookstore, eventually getting promoted to assistant manager. They both continued therapy religiously, attended support groups, built routines that felt almost normal. But Vancouver called to them every day through news alerts they tried not to read, through dreams they couldn't control, through the phantom pull of unfinished business. The sentencing hearing was set for a Friday in early January. Snow was predicted for Vancouver. Rare and beautiful and somehow fitting for the end of everything. 2 days before the hearing, Zara and Marcus sat in their small apartment making the final decision. "We don't have to go," Marcus said for the 100th time. "Our therapist said closure doesn't require confrontation. We can close this chapter from right here in Seattle." "But do you want to go?" Zara asked. "Honest answer. Not what you think you should want. What do you actually want?" Marcus was quiet for a long moment, staring out at Seattle's grey sky. "I want to see her, Miss Gloria, one last time. I want to look at her and feel nothing. I want proof that she doesn't own me anymore. And if you look at her and still feel something, then at least I'll know I'm not ready, that I need more time, more therapy, more distance." He turned to face his sister. "What about you? What do you want?" Zara had been asking herself that question for 3 months. "I want to face Hyunwoo and my mother and tell them the truth. Not the victim narrative Mum wants, not the villain narrative Hyunwoo's lawyers painted. Just the complicated, messy truth that I was manipulated and I made choices, that they're guilty and so am I, that everyone hurt everyone." Hannah said she'd meet us there, at the courthouse, that we could sit together. "Then I think we should go," Marcus nodded slowly. "Okay, we go. We face them. And then we come home to Seattle and we never look back. Deal?" "Deal." They booked flights for Thursday night, arriving in Vancouver after midnight. Hannah had offered to let them stay at her new apartment, a tiny studio in a rough neighborhood, all she could afford since her trust fund had been frozen. When they arrived, she greeted them with hugs that felt both familiar and foreign. "You both look good," Hannah said, studying them. "Healthier. Less haunted." "So do you," Zara replied, and it was true. Hannah had cut her long hair into a sharp bob, wore minimal makeup, dressed in jeans and a simple sweater. No designer labels, no performance of perfection, just Hannah, raw and real. They stayed up late talking, not about the trial or the hearing, but about their new lives. Hannah's job at a non-profit, Marcus's bookstore, Zara's growing business. Normal things, boring things, the kind of conversation they'd never had when they were pretending to be a perfect family. "Do you ever miss it?" Hannah asked as midnight approached. "The money? The status? The big house?" "Sometimes," Zara admitted. "Then I remember what it cost, and the trade doesn't seem worth it anymore." "Yeah, same." Hannah pulled her knees to her chest. "I testified against my own father, my mother, my entire family, and I'd do it again. Because the truth matters more than loyalty to people who never deserved it." "Are you scared?" Marcus asked. "About tomorrow, seeing them, terrified, but also ready." Hannah met their eyes. "Whatever happens in that courtroom, we survive it together, the 3 of us, the survivors." "The survivors," Zara and Marcus echoed. They slept restlessly, all of them processing in their own ways. When morning came, grey and cold with the promised snow just beginning to fall, they dressed carefully. Not to impress anyone, just to feel strong. The courthouse was surrounded by media trucks. Reporters, protesters holding signs about justice and corruption. Security was tight. Federal charges meant federal courthouse, everything more serious, more final. Inside, the hallways were marble and echo, and the weight of consequence. They found seats in the gallery, Hannah between Zara and Marcus, all 3 holding hands like children afraid of the dark. The families filed in separately. Simone entered first, looking thinner and harder in her prison orange jumpsuit. Her eyes scanned the gallery, landing on Zara and Marcus. For a moment, something flickered in her expression. Pain. Regret. Then it hardened. She looked away, dismissing them entirely. "She's really not going to acknowledge us," Marcus whispered. "We're dead to her," Zara replied. "She said so. Guess she meant it." Gloria came next, also in orange. Her perfect bob grown out awkwardly, her makeup-free face showing every one of her 46 years. Her eyes found Marcus immediately, and the look she gave him was so intense, so possessive, that Zara felt her brother flinch. "Don't look at her," Zara murmured. You don't owe her anything, not even eye contact. But Marcus was already looking away, his breathing rapid. Hannah squeezed his other hand. You're safe. She can't touch you. She's going to prison for what she did. Finally, Hyun-woo entered. Even in prison orange, even with his salt and pepper hair unkempt and grey stubble on his jaw, he commanded presence. His dark eyes swept the courtroom with the same calculating intelligence that had once made Zara feel seen and special. When his gaze landed on her, time seemed to stop. 3 months apart. 3 months of healing. 3 months of learning to be herself without him. And still, that pull, that gravitational force that had defined 6 months of her life. But this time, Zara met his eyes and didn't look away, didn't shrink, didn't feel small or powerless or desperate for his approval. This time, she just looked at him, acknowledged what had been, and let it go. Hyun-woo's expression shifted, surprise maybe, respect, or maybe just recognition that he'd lost his hold on her. He nodded once, a goodbye, an acknowledgement, a release. Then he took his seat, and the hearing began. The judge was a stern woman in her 60s who looked like she'd seen every trick, every manipulation, every attempt to avoid consequences. She reviewed the charges methodically. Kang Hyun-woo, extensive racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy. Simone Williams Kang, accessory to money laundering, obstruction of justice. Gloria Kang, sexual exploitation, abuse of power, witness tampering. Each defendant had the opportunity to speak before sentencing. Hyun-woo went first. He stood with the same controlled posture he'd always had. And when he spoke, his voice was steady. Your Honour, I won't insult this court by claiming innocence. The evidence is clear. I built a criminal empire. I manipulated people. I caused harm. He paused. But I want to address something that's been lost in the legal proceedings. The people I hurt most weren't business rivals or law enforcement. They were the people who trusted me. My daughter Hannah, my stepchildren Zara and Marcus, my wives, both of them. He turned slightly toward the gallery, his eyes finding Zara's again. I told Zara I loved her, and I meant it. But love without respect, without equal power, without honesty, that's not love, that's ownership. And I'm guilty of trying to own every person in my life. His voice roughened. Hannah, if you're listening, I'm sorry I failed you as a father, that I taught you control instead of love. Marcus, I'm sorry I allowed Gloria to hurt you. Zara, don't, Zara said quietly, but loud enough to carry. Don't apologize to me here. In front of everyone. You don't get to control this narrative too. The judge looked at her. Ms. Williams, you're not on trial. Please refrain from outbursts. I'm sorry, Your Honour, but he's doing it again. Performing. Making himself look penitent while still trying to direct how everyone sees him. Zara stood, Hannah and Marcus gripping her hands. He's not sorry. He's strategic. Everything he does is strategic. The judge studied her, then looked at Hyun-woo. Is that accurate, Mr. Kang? Hyun-woo was quiet for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he laughed, bitter and broken. Yes. Even now, I'm trying to control the story. Old habits. He looked at Zara with something that might have been genuine emotion. You're right. I'm not sorry I loved you. I'm sorry I destroyed you. There's a difference. He sat down, and Simone was called next. Zara's mother stood with less grace, her hands shaking slightly. Your Honour, I was a victim of Kang Hyun-woo's manipulation. A recovering addict who he preyed upon. Mom, stop, Marcus called out before he could stop himself. Just stop lying. The judge looked stern. Young man? I know I'm not supposed to speak, but I can't sit here and watch her perform victim one more time. Marcus stood, Zara and Hannah rising with him in solidarity. She wasn't just a victim. She knew about the crimes. She participated. She's been clean for 3 years, but she's not fixed. She's not honest. She's just better at hiding. Simone's face contorted with rage. How dare you, after everything I did for you? I protected you. I called the police on Gloria to save you. You called the police to destroy the Kang family. Marcus's voice cracked. You didn't save me. You used my abuse as a weapon in your war with Hyun-woo. If you actually cared about protecting me, you would have noticed what was happening a year ago. But you were too busy planning your revenge. The courtroom erupted in murmurs. The judge banged her gavel. Order, this is highly irregular. Your Honour, may I speak? Hannah stood, her voice clear and steady. I testified at the trial, but there's something I need to say now directly to them, to all of them. The judge considered, then nodded. Briefly, Ms. Kang. Hannah turned to face the three defendants, her father, her stepmother, her mother. You're all guilty, all of you. Dad built an empire on crime and manipulation. Simone knew and benefited. Mom, she looked at Gloria. You abused Marcus and you're trying to blame everyone but yourself. She took a breath. But here's what you all need to understand. You didn't break us. Zara, Marcus and I, we survived you. We're building lives that aren't defined by your toxicity. And when you're in prison, when you have years to think about what you've done, I want you to know that we're out here being happy, being free, being better than you ever were. Hannah, Hyun-woo started, but she cut him off. No, you don't get to speak to me anymore. You lost that right. Her voice broke but held. I loved you. I worshipped you. I thought you were this powerful, brilliant man who could do no wrong. And you used that love to control me my entire life. But I'm done. We're all done. She sat back down, and the courtroom was silent except for the sound of snow falling outside the tall windows. Gloria was last to speak. She stood with her characteristic elegance, even in prison orange, and when she spoke, her voice was cold. I won't apologize for loving Marcus. What we had was real. It wasn't real, Marcus shouted, standing again. You groomed me, you manipulated me, you made me dependent on you and called it love. You came to me willingly. I was 21. I was broke and desperate and you were my employer. You had all the power. Tears streamed down Marcus's face. I'm done letting you rewrite history. I'm done letting you call abuse love. You destroyed me. And I'm going to spend years recovering from what you did. Gloria's mask cracked slightly. Marcus, no. No more. You don't get to say my name anymore. He sat down heavily, Zara and Hannah wrapping their arms around him. The judge let the silence settle, then spoke. I've presided over many cases in my career. But rarely have I seen such a complete picture of mutual destruction. She looked at each defendant in turn. You each claim victimhood. You each claim justification. But the truth is simple. You're all adults who made choices. Criminal choices, harmful choices. Choices that destroyed the people who trusted you. She shuffled papers, then looked up. Kang Hyun-woo, you are sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. Simone Williams Kang, you are sentenced to 8 years. Gloria Kang, you are sentenced to 12 years. These sentences are to be served consecutively with minimal possibility of parole. The words fell like hammer blows. 25 years, 8 years, 12 years. Lifetimes in prison. The empire completely destroyed. As the bailiffs moved to escort the defendants out, Hyun-woo turned one last time to look at Zara. She met his eyes steadily, and this time she didn't feel pulled. Didn't feel controlled. Didn't feel anything except a quiet, certain finality. It was over. Simone didn't look at her children at all, just walked out with her head high, still performing strength even in defeat. Gloria's eyes found Marcus one last time, and Zara watched her brother simply shake his head. No words, no emotion, just refusal. When they were gone, the gallery erupted in conversation. Reporters rushed out to file stories, lawyers packed briefcases, protesters outside either celebrated or condemned the sentences depending on their perspective. But Zara, Marcus, and Hannah sat quietly, holding hands, letting the magnitude of it settle. "It's really over," Hannah whispered. "Yeah," Zara confirmed. "It's really over." They left through a side exit to avoid media, stepping out into Vancouver's rare snow. The city looked different, covered in white, cleaner, softer, like nature was giving them permission to start fresh. "What now?" Marcus asked as they stood on the courthouse steps. "Now we go home," Zara said. "To Seattle. To our apartment. To our lives. What about you?" Hannah looked at Zara. "Do you feel closure, peace, whatever therapy says you're supposed to feel?" Zara thought about it honestly. "I feel lighter. Like I've been carrying everyone's secrets and shame for so long, and I finally get to put it down." "Is that closure?" "Good enough for me." Hannah hugged them both. "Come back to Vancouver sometime, when enough time has passed, when it doesn't hurt so much. I'll still be here, trying to build something good from all this rubble." "We will," Zara promised. They parted at the courthouse, Hannah heading to her non-profit job, Zara and Marcus catching an Uber to the airport. As they drove through Vancouver's snowy streets, past the neighbourhood where the Kang estate stood, for sale now, seized as criminal proceeds, past their old lives, Marcus spoke quietly. "Do you think we'll ever be fully healed, fully over it? I don't know. Maybe we carry it forever. Maybe the scars never fully fade. But maybe that's okay." Zara squeezed his hand. "We survived. We're building good lives. We're not defined by what they did to us. That's enough." "Yeah, that's enough." 6 months later, Zara stood in a Seattle art gallery, surrounded by people who knew nothing about Vancouver or the Kangs or the scandal that had consumed her life. She was here for Marcus's photography exhibition. He'd discovered a talent for capturing urban landscapes, beauty in broken things, light in dark places. The photos were stunning, raw, honest in a way their family never had been. "You must be so proud," a woman said beside her, another gallery attendee, making polite conversation. "I am," Zara replied. "He's incredibly talented." "Is he your brother?" "Yes, my brother, my best friend, my fellow survivor." The woman looked confused by the last part, but Zara didn't elaborate. Some stories were too big to explain at cocktail parties. Hannah had flown in for the opening, bringing David with her. They'd reconciled, slowly, carefully, with extensive couples therapy. They stood across the gallery looking at Marcus's work, holding hands like people learning to trust again. Zara's phone buzzed, her therapist confirming their session for next week. She'd probably be in therapy for years, maybe forever. That was okay. Healing wasn't a destination. It was a practice. Marcus approached, looking nervous and proud. "What do you think, honestly?" "I think you turned pain into something beautiful. I think you're going to be okay. More than okay. We both are, right? Eventually." "Yeah." Zara smiled, and for the first time in a long time, it felt completely genuine. "We both are." As the evening continued, Zara found herself on the gallery's balcony, looking out at Seattle's skyline. 6 months since the sentencing. 18 months since she'd left Vancouver. 2 years since everything started unraveling. She thought about Hyunwoo in federal prison, aging behind bars, his empire dismantled. About Simone, who'd never responded to letters Zara had sent trying to reconcile. About Gloria, who still sent letters to Marcus that he burned without reading. She thought about the woman she'd been, desperate, broken, willing to destroy everything for the feeling of being chosen. And the woman she was becoming, whole, honest, choosing herself every single day. Her phone buzzed again. This time, a text from a new client. "Looking forward to working with you on our wedding. Your portfolio is beautiful. You really understand love." Zara smiled. She did understand love now. Not the twisted version that had defined her family. Real love. The kind that respected boundaries and built people up instead of breaking them down, the kind she was learning to give herself. Marcus joined her on the balcony, Hannah and David following. The four of them stood together, survivors of the same storm, looking out at a city full of possibilities. "To new beginnings," Hannah said, raising her glass of gallery wine. "To survival," Marcus added. "To finally being free," Zara finished. They clinked glasses and drank, and somewhere far away in Vancouver, snow fell on a courthouse where justice had been served, but healing was still a choice every survivor had to make for themselves. Zara chose healing, every day despite the scars, despite the memories, despite the occasional pull of addiction to what had once destroyed her. She chose herself, and that made all the difference. Epilogue. 2 years later. Zara Williams stood in a Seattle courthouse, but this time she wasn't there for trauma. She was there to legally change her name. "Williams Park," the judge read from the documents. "You're adding your mother's maiden name?" "Yes, Your Honor. She passed away 6 months ago. Liver failure, complications from years of addiction." Zara's voice was steady. "We'd reconciled before the end, not fully, but enough. And I want to honor the good parts of her while acknowledging the complicated rest." The judge approved the change. Zara Williams Park left the courthouse feeling like she'd closed one more chapter. Marcus was waiting outside. "How'd it go?" "Done. Officially Zara Williams Park now." Mum would have liked that. The complicated gesture, honoring her while also keeping your distance. "What about you? You're keeping Williams?" "For now. I'm not ready to honor her yet. Maybe someday." Marcus checked his phone. Hannah texted. She and David got married last week. Small ceremony. Just them and a judge. She said to tell you she wore jeans and it was perfect. Good for her. They walked through Seattle's spring afternoon, the city in bloom, everything growing and green. Zara's business had expanded. She now had 2 employees and a waiting list of clients. Marcus had published a photo book that was getting serious attention. Normal success, healthy success, built on their own merit instead of family money or criminal empires. That night, Zara attended a support group for survivors of familial abuse. She'd been going for 2 years now, and she'd become one of the senior members, someone newer survivors looked to for hope. "Does it ever stop hurting?" a young woman asked, 23, fresh out of a relationship with her step-uncle, still raw with shame and confusion. "The acute pain? Eventually," Zara said honestly. "But you'll carry it forever. The key is learning to carry it without letting it define you. To acknowledge this happened to me without letting it become, this is who I am." "How long did it take you?" "I'm still working on it. Probably always will be." Zara smiled. "But it gets easier. The weight gets lighter. And one day, you wake up and realize you've gone a whole week without thinking about them. Then a month. Then you only remember when something triggers you. And even then, you can breathe through it. Do you ever miss them? The people who hurt you?" Zara thought about Hyunwoo, serving year 3 of 25 in federal prison. She thought about her mother in her grave. About Gloria, who'd be eligible for parole in 9 more years. "Sometimes I miss the feeling, the intensity, the addiction to being controlled." She paused. "But I don't miss them, not anymore. And that's how I know I'm healing." After the meeting, she walked home through Seattle streets that felt like hers now. Not running, not hiding, just living. Her phone rang. Hannah. "Hey, stepsister." Hannah's voice was warm. "I know it's late, but I wanted you to hear from me first. Before it hits the news, Dad died. Heart attack. In prison. He's gone." Zara stopped walking, processing. "How do you feel? Relieved? Sad? I don't know. All of it at once." Hannah's voice cracked. "I know he was terrible. I know what he did. But he was still my father. Is it wrong that I'm crying? No. Love is complicated. Grief is complicated. You're allowed to mourn even while acknowledging he deserved his consequences. Are you okay? Hearing this?" Zara stood on a Seattle corner, feeling snow start to fall. Rare like Vancouver's snow had been 2 years ago when everything ended. Yeah, I'm okay. I think I let go of him a long time ago, so this is just confirmation. An ending that already happened in my heart. Will you come to the funeral? It's going to be small. Just me, really. I'll think about it. Let me talk to Marcus. After they hung up, Zara looked up at the falling snow, thinking about Kang Hyun-woo, about the man who'd been her stepfather, her lover, her destroyer, her teacher in the cruelest lessons. He was gone, the man who'd once controlled her every move, who'd made her feel powerful and powerless, who'd been both villain and victim in their twisted story. Gone. And she felt nothing. Or not nothing, something. But it wasn't the crushing weight she might have expected. It was just sadness for all the wasted potential, for what could have been if he'd chosen to be better. She called Marcus. Hyun-woo died. Hannah wants us at the funeral. Marcus was quiet then. Do you want to go? I think we should. Not for him, but for Hannah, for closure, for saying goodbye to that chapter one final time. Okay, we go. Together. Together. The funeral was held on a grey Vancouver afternoon. Only 5 people attended: Hannah and David, Zara and Marcus, and one of Hyun-woo's old business associates who'd somehow escaped criminal charges. No Gloria. She was still in prison. No other family. No friends. Just 5 people standing around a grave, watching a powerful man be reduced to a box in the ground. Hannah spoke, her voice steady. My father was complicated. He was a criminal, a manipulator, someone who hurt everyone he touched. But he was also the man who taught me to be strong, to be smart, to survive. I wish he'd been a better person. I wish he'd chosen love over control. But he didn't. So all I can do now is promise to be better than he was, to love openly, to build instead of destroy, to honor the lessons without repeating the patterns. She dropped a flower on the casket. David did the same. Marcus went next. I barely knew you. You were my stepfather for 3 years, but you were never really present. You allowed Gloria to destroy me. You knew and did nothing. So I'm not here to forgive you. I'm here to say goodbye to the ghost of what you could have been if you'd been brave enough to be good. Another flower. Then it was Zara's turn. She stood at the edge of the grave, looking at the expensive casket that held the man who'd once held all the power in her life. You told me you loved me, she said quietly. And maybe in your way, you did. But your love was toxic. Possessive. Destructive. You saw my brokenness, and instead of helping me heal, you made me more broken, so I'd need you. She paused. But here's what you never understood. I was always stronger than you saw me. And I survived you. We all did. Hannah, Marcus, me. We survived, and we're building good lives. So your legacy isn't your empire or your control. It's us. 3 people who refuse to let your toxicity define them. She dropped her flower and walked away, not looking back. They left Vancouver that evening, the city receding behind them like a bad dream finally fading. In the car heading to the airport, none of them spoke. They didn't need to. The silence was understanding, healing, the quiet of survivors who'd faced their demons and emerged intact. At the airport, waiting for their flight back to Seattle, Hannah hugged them goodbye. Thank you for coming, for being here, for surviving with me. Always, Zara promised. We're family, the real kind, the chosen kind. The kind that's honest, Marcus added. To honesty, Hannah said. To survival, Zara replied. To finally being free, they said together. And as Zara and Marcus boarded their flight home to Seattle, she realized something profound. She hadn't thought about Hyun-woo once during the funeral beyond what was necessary, hadn't felt pulled, hadn't felt controlled, hadn't felt anything except closure. He was gone. The addiction was broken, the chapter was closed. She was free. Really, truly Finally, free. The end. Kang Hyun-woo died in federal prison at 47, serving his sentence for racketeering and organized crime. Simone Williams. Kang died of liver failure at 51. Having served 5 years of her 8-year sentence, Gloria Kang is eligible for parole in 2033. Marcus Williams has stated he will oppose her release at every hearing. Hannah Kang Chen runs a non-profit supporting survivors of familial abuse. She and David have 2 children and live in Vancouver. Marcus Williams published 3 photography books and teaches art therapy to trauma survivors in Seattle. Zara Williams Park built a successful event planning company. She married at 32 to a kind, gentle man who'd never heard of the Kangs. They have 1 daughter named Hope. Some families are born, some are chosen, and some are built from the ashes of the ones that tried to destroy us. This is a story about survival,